Let's do this. Get ready for the Dirt Life Show.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 77 of the Dirt Life Show. Man, I don't even know how we made it this far. This is crazy, right? We have an awesome show for you guys tonight. We're going to talk all kinds of racing. We're going to talk about racing down in Mexico. We're going to talk about racing locally. We're even going to talk about the new gas short course series out here on the West Coast. And we've got some fantastic guests with us tonight. I'd like to welcome both Eliott Watson, short course racer, professional driver, and now side-by-side driver with Honda. And I'd also like to welcome Jamie Campbell, man, off-road legend. He's been doing all kinds of builds for a long time. He's got a brother that you might know, Johnny Campbell, but Jamie is really making a mark in the side-by-side industry. He's built all kinds of big cars, but we're going to talk most about the side-by-sides tonight. So welcome, boys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys
Stoked
for coming.
to be here.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming all the way up here, man. Well, you didn't have that far to go. Eliott came all the way from El Centro.
A little bit of a trip.
Yeah, but I'm really stoked to have you guys in, man. And we actually have, we'll just give you guys a little sneak peek. We got a car in the background sitting right behind us. We got a little side shot of that bad boy. Jamie built that for Eliott, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, a lot of parts we put on there, and he's actually been doing a lot of work on it himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just trying to get him dialed in so he's could be on the RaceCo team, Talon team.
Look at you, dude, getting all hands dirty this whole time, or what?
Trying to. It's pretty cool. Everything's been bolt on pretty easy. So this is a car I ended up getting last year, and I have about 4,000 miles on the thing. But this year got a little upgrade, some new RaceCo parts, and cleaned it up a lot. And now here she is.
Oh, right on, man. Well, I'm stoked to talk about all this stuff with you guys tonight. It's going to be a really good show. We also have one of the guys that you know, Eliott. Lee Perfect's going to call in and talk about the gas short course series on the West Coast here.
Rad.
So that's going to be really cool. He's going to call in about 20 minutes or so.
I have history with Lee, too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Old MDR racing days.
Oh, nice, dude.
Yeah.
Nice. So maybe you could talk to him. Bring that up. when we get him on the phone, bring it up and talk to him about that.
Oh, he knows.
Oh, okay. So I love hearing those kind of stories, too, because that dates me, right? Because I entered the, off-road racing scene so late, 2015 or 2014. And, man, so I love hearing those older stories.
Yeah, those were fun times back then.
Were they?
Yeah. I mean, it's not that far, you're talking 2000 to 04 MDR days. And
That's right when I was born.
Yeah. Sure. Now he's dead. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks for jabbing us. Eliott's jabbing us right off the bat, dude.
I was winning championships when you were born.
So crazy, right?
Yep, exactly. So excuse me. Thank you guys very much for joining us. As you guys probably already know, I'm Georgie Hamill, host of the Dirt Life Show. I always forget to say my name, so I want to try to make it a point to say my name at the beginning of every show. And, like I said, it's episode 77. We're really appreciative of everybody for joining us, man. We had an awesome last episode with the guys at Dune and Destroy right here in the IMG Motorsports headquarters in Lake Elsinore, California. And those guys actually went out to the dunes this past weekend and had some fun, man. They were sending it in their side-by-sides. I mean, like, huge stuff. Unfortunately, Ruslan Greasehands, he bit the dust on that canal jump again.
So I saw a video today of it. Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that?
I don't jump.
I'm not doing it.
You're not a jumper?
No.
Side note, too.
How are you not a jumper? You race short course.
Well, it's a lot easier. It's like tabletops you kind of hit repetitively, But it's
what about if you went to Texplex, like with Miles and Ronnie and those guys?
We're talking about going back. I think we try and have a little bit of a learning curve. I think we could try and make it work out for sure.
Yeah, you got to hit some pretty sick jumps out there.
I've heard they're so cool.
So I'll tell you guys a little bit of secret, though. Eliott did hit a jump trying to be like Miles out here at the Gutter Gap out in front of IMG Motorsports. We're going to post that on our social media tomorrow. Maybe even tonight if I
get
it.
You should. Yeah. You had a sweet half shell helmet on, all painted up red and gold. I felt fast.
Dude, where is that helmet anyways? Over there?
It's back over there.
We'll get that
I
bad boy.
throw that thing on here in a little bit.
We'll get that bad boy.
Second half of the show.
Eliott Knievel.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying, so thank you guys very, very much for joining us. You guys are our lifeblood. We really appreciate every show that you guys watch and help us grow our audience and support our sponsors. I want to definitely thank all of our sponsors right now. Thank you very much to all the guys at KMC Wheels. You can see a KMC wheel right behind me in this Boxo toolbox. That's a really, really awesome wheel. We have some wheels that are very similar to that on the YXZ Unicorn that we're going to show off in the next couple weeks here. I think Eliott even has some of those on his car back here. Some forged ones, actually. You got the cool guy
fancy,
stuff.
huh?
Yeah. But thank you to Ryan Edwards and all the guys over at KMC. Thank you to Ryan Guidus and everybody at EFX Tires. I get to try out some EFX I think they're called Motivators.
Motivator or the hammer?
Yeah, I think these are called the Motivators.
There you go.
They're a little bit more round, not so square. So I'm going to try those bad boys out pretty soon as well. And thank you to the guys over at Zollinger Racing Products. I don't know if you guys can see in the – dude, you'll actually love this, Jamie. But there's a Can-Am side case, a full billet Can-Am side case up there that Zollinger Racing Products makes. And, man, those things are just insane pieces of art. Like
Travis is a good dude, too. He just bought parts from me.
Solid
for
dude,
a couple builds he's doing.
Solid dude. So everybody loves the innovation and we're going to talk about this with you as well. Everybody loves the innovation in the side-by-side industry. Thank you to the guys over at Shock Therapy. You can use the code DIRTLIFE and save a whole bunch of money on your guys' ride improvement systems, any of the hard parts that they offer. And, call them up. Tell them that Dirt Life sent you. They'll help you out for sure. Thank you to the guys over at Solderweld for always being a part of the show. They make an off-road repair kit. You got to go check out at solderweld.com. Use the code DIRTLIFE and save a whole bunch of money on those bad boys. They can repair your race or repair your ride. And thank you to the guys at Cryo Heat. I think you know Josh over at Cryo Heat, don't you, Jamie?
He did some stuff for us for the Ball 1000 last year.
Yeah, he does awesome stuff.
I don't know him that well. Just we've talked and stuff, and he did all of our CV joints and stuff.
Super smart engineering guy, man. So thank you to Josh for being a part of the show as well. Go check out cryoheat.com and see all the things that they offer. Lower rolling resistance, always helpful in these low horsepower cars that we have in the side-by-side industry. So, man, I'm so stoked to have you guys in the studio. We already got some comments coming in. So Kenny Mash is already saying that Eliott Cook needs to jump on the show and check it out. So maybe we should text him and get him to watch because Eliott is one of the guys that you support, right, Jamie?
Oh, yeah.
So and he shares an awesome name.
I know, right?
Elliott's actually good people, man. When I went out to Texplex, I got to hang out with those guys quite a bit. So
yeah, he's had a rough go last year a little bit, but he's, I believe in that guy too. He's gonna do good.
Doing it like the moto stuff, he's actually a really smooth, good driver. I think he needs to up his intensity a little bit. Maybe get a like that Ken Roczen whole shot, like really intense, like first couple laps, and maybe work on his car a little bit, and he'd be dialed, dude. I think you got the car part.
Yeah, he wants us to come out there and hang out with him and stuff too. So it'd be cool to go there and hang out for the weekend.
Dude,
and
when you see that track or that facility, you're gonna die, man. It's so awesome. Like, you've been, Eliott?
I have not. I've just been watching in-car every time someone goes back there.
It's so sick, man. I got to be on course just a little bit.
Nice.
Just big media guy over here, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get to jump any of the jumps, but, man, it looks so fun.
Looks so fun.
Eliott goes big.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he goes pretty big.
So, and he's got that new turbo car, right? You helping him out with that one?
Just suspension parts and stuff. He has a couple good, tuners and stuff he's working with.
Oh, look at this guy bringing Thursday back. Thanks, Chuck, for reminding us. Chuck Cheek says, better put a wing on that Honda, Jamie.
Yeah, a couple more miles an hour out of it with that thing.
Man.
Chuck does a ton for us too. He makes a lot of our parts for us at his machine shop, CMI.
Chuck's good people. And David P says, hey, Eliott, good to see you. Rusty, what's up, Rusty? How are you? Eliott is awesome. Looking forward to seeing him continue his absolute dominance in whatever he races. Wow. Well, not only whatever he races, but we're going to get into the backstory of this smart guy over here. He's been going to school, really doing a lot of work, man. So he's got an awesome story, Rusty. So if you haven't heard anything about it yet, stay tuned because we're going to get into that backstory and you're going to really appreciate his work ethic. All right, man. So a couple of the first things that I wanted to talk about before we get Lee on the show, is I wanted to get your guys' opinion. And I know short course is a vague word, right? Like everybody thinks Lucas is short course, but then everybody calls work short course. What do you guys prefer, short course or desert?
Well, last year I got the opportunity to race a little bit of both, so we ran the whole Lucas series last year and ran some stuff with the other Honda team. So For me, I like the aspect of short course. You just have to go, and just try to make it around the track the fastest. But for me, it took some time to kind of mellow myself down for the desert, like for the Baja 1000, getting the car to last the whole time, and driving in the dust and trying to miss rocks and all this sort of thing. But I like the aspect of racing, like in Mexico, you get to go down and pre-run and like get sense of the course before and go out and hang out and have some tacos, all that fun stuff. But personally, I think desert racing, and think just as I'm getting older, I'm starting to like it more and more.
So maybe you could give like the top 2 differences between short course and desert, because for me, like I like desert racing because there's so much logistical stuff and so much mind games and things. And short course to me is more like MMA on 4 wheels, right? It's just knock down, drag out. But coming from a moto background, and I mean, like, when I say moto, I don't mean desert racing moto. I mean like supercross and motocross. I really like the short course stuff. Like I was really like the intensity, like what we talked about Eliott Cook right now.
Yeah.
What were the 2 things that you noticed that were the differences?
I think intensity is a good word for it. In short course, you're just attacking every corner, where in desert, you kind of have to have a little more patience and make the car last. So I think that's the main difference there. And then another thing is driving in the dust. It took me a little bit to learn how to drive in the dust and pace myself through there. And with short course, you're there pulling tear-offs and trying to get through mud and wet corners and trying to read the dirt different ways, because in like a 2-wheel drive light buggy, like what we were racing the last couple of years, you hit a slick spot and thing will just go and do donuts, and it's kind of, you got to predict when trying to read the dirt a little bit differently and all that sort of thing.
It is a lot different, right? And Jamie can probably attest to this. Like seeing in the dust is like
I'm scared of the dust. Like I check up because I've come from motorcycle racing in the desert and Baja and stuff too, and it's it's life or death at some point. And I mean, I've some of these trophy truck guys and stuff that are going so fast, and reading just the GPS and all that. It for me, I still read the terrain. Right. I'm not looking at the GPS because I don't trust what the GPS. It's not.
You trust your eyeballs.
I trust my eyeballs, and so even at Parker, last month or whatever, the sun was crazy coming back into the main pit off lap 1, and the dust was really bad. But yeah, I'm scared. I check up.
I see. Like we've heard a couple of people talk to us about the dust, and it's like some people can like literally see through it. I feel like, and some people it's just like a big cloud, like a wall in front of their face. And I think I'm the wall guy.
Yeah, I mean, I've done all different types of desert racing, obviously, but that just seems like the biggest factor to get through it. And like I said, at Parker, I started like 24th or something, and that was the biggest thing on that first lap is I have to get through these guys because I felt like the leaders were going to leave me, if I didn't. So I took chances, I definitely could have tore a wheel off or whatever, but got through it and.
And we'll talk about some of your racing prowess and the stuff that you guys have done too during the show. But man, like over the last year, I've been talking to so many people on the show about different types of racing. We got all kinds of short course drivers because that was what I'm used to. And then now I'm getting really my hands or my feet wet in more of this desert stuff. And it's phenomenal to me to see anybody that can finish a desert race, first of all, is awesome. But to see the guys that can actually push through all those different elements is phenomenal. Like when we were at the UTV World Championship last year, which Eliott raced, were you up there too?
I went, I left early, but we were there.
So when we went up there, the course was super, super dusty. And when we went on track, I think we were on track at the same time, Eliott. When we went on course, it was a massive advantage for whoever started the race first. And I love Ronnie Anderson. We actually had him on the show on Thursday on the Instagram Live, but there was almost no way to beat him because that first lap, he had a clear lap.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there's no way that anybody else could make up that time. Even if they got a clear lap the second lap, you can't go that fast. So
yeah, that's what I mean with like some of these long distance races too. Even like if you're up front and you're a player and you could win, it's going to be harder to race through the dust to catch those guys when they're just leaving you. You know? So exactly,
it's kind of crazy. I mean, this all goes into a way deeper conversation about racing in general and finding new places to race and things like that. But man, for me, just understanding the difference between short course and desert racing has been really, really cool to understand. How was it different on a moto, on a dirt bike than in a car or a side by side?
As far as what? Desert racing?
Yeah, I mean, like, because on a dirt bike, it would
I
seem
grew
like
up, I grew up racing Grand Prix, actually, so like 45-minute motocross races, Carlsbad Raceway, Riverside, Paris, like
Dude,
those
gnarly.
things. But, I mean, on a bike, obviously, there's different courses are way more treacherous than other ones. So, you know, a bike at San Felipe is, you know, we can't necessarily beat the trucks there. We used to beat the trucks at, you know, the BAJA 500, the BAJA 1000 overall, but San Felipe is almost impossible, and it's just because the terrain is so much more treacherous, hidden rocks, that type of stuff. So you definitely have to, you know, ride at 80% versus 100.
I still think you're gnarly, dude. Every time I see those guys, like I remember being a little kid and looking at what was his name? I thought it was Scott something. Who's the guy that lifted the XR 650?
Scott Summers.
Is that what his name
Yeah.
was? Scott Summers. Like I grew up seeing him in the, you know, magazines and stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Thinking like, holy crap, these dudes are gnarly.
That guy used to win, you know, like GNCC, Grand National Cross Country races on an XR 600.
Dude, the tank.
Where his competition was riding, you know, 252 strokes back then, you know. Scott was an animal.
Yeah, he really was.
But he would come down here with Honda back in the 90s, like when I raced for the team with my brother and stuff, and he didn't ride that fast in Baja because because it's wide open. He wasn't used to that. You know, he was trees and mud and but we go there and we get smoked.
Yeah,
you know, so it's just the difference. And
I think that's what I was getting at is it's so much different for those two different disciplines. So my whole question was to go back to like the building cars thing, because we're going to get into it later in the show. But what's the difference between a short course car and something that's prepared for the desert, or like a UTV World Championship?
Wow, there's a totally different setup. You know, I've built both. I mainly buggies. I didn't really get into the truck building side of short course at all. I worked on a couple Pro 2s and stuff for Rob Mack. Had Tanner Faust race a couple times, and Rockstar sponsored it, and I helped and crew chief that truck. But you know, as far as the buggy, the way they're built, you got to, you know, really pay attention to weight.
Yep.
You know, where desert racing, weight could be your friend, but in short course racing, yeah, I mean, typically a heavier vehicle will work better through the rough, but you know, corner to corner, it might not be as fast, but it'll work better through the whoops and all that kind of stuff. It's more comfortable to drive a lot of times. So
yeah, exactly. It's crazy for me to think about how much different those vehicles are, and especially with the short course stuff. Since you just talked about preparing those vehicles for the short course, we got Lee Perfect from Great American Shortcourse on the line. What's up, Lee?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good, bro.
Up, Lee?
How are you guys doing? I got Jamie Campbell and Eliott Watson in the studio with me.
How's it going, Lee?
Nice. Doing good.
Good.
Known those guys for a while, both of them.
That's right.
Awesome.
So Jamie was actually talking about, before we get into what's going on with gas, he was actually talking about knowing you from way back in the day. Weren't you, Jamie?
Oh, yeah. MDR days, Lee. So.
Yep, 2004-ish, just battling around, running laps, running all those MDR races back in the day, and he was flying around on that old Ranger, and I was out in my old Chenoweth DR2 just back in the day.
Dude, that's so cool, man.
Yeah, we battled that year for the overall points championship, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I won Class 10 points.
Yep.
And I don't know who got the overall. Probably a 9-car or 1600 car, where whoever has the most entries usually how it works out. But yeah.
Yeah, it was. But we weren't in the same class, but the whole year we're battling for that overall deal.
Having a little bit of fun. Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that about Lee, that he actually knows how to wheel too.
Lee could drive.
Yeah, been doing a long time.
Yeah,
way back to the Mint in the '80s. Won the Mint 400, the middle '80s, like an old Class 11 Baja bug, getting out and pushing on the hills to make it up the hills and stuff. I don't know.
Are we supposed to
wait?
wait?
My parents were thinking, let me do that at 15, but yeah, that was me way back then.
Are we supposed to wait till Eliott says I wasn't born yet again, and like really insult us again?
That was my one deal. I'm done.
Dude, right off the bat, Eliott was telling us how young he was. Like, oh, you guys are old.
So I think Lee. I remember a Ridgecrest race. I believe Lee won. I think Lee won overall in his Chineth, and we beat. So I ended up, I think, second or third overall my 7S truck, and we beat We beat a bunch of Class 1s, and I mean it was crazy because we finished. I think a Class 1 finished physically first, but then Lee won, and then I came in behind Lee. And, it was pretty amazing, those two.
Overall.
Yeah, overall at one of those races,
Dude, how rad is that?
Old beam car with a Volt. What engine did you have in that thing? Like a 1650 or?
Class 10, I had like a 2000.
Oh, okay.
Right before I went to FAT, I had a couple motors, and Jimmy Hook and a bunch of old school guys were helping me actually put my spare motor in the night before because I found an oil leak and was up till midnight and having beers, and I counted, how many cars on the road in front of us and talking smack, and we ended up, we finished second and got the other guy and ended up first overall. I'll take it, man. It was good times back then. Won the points that year, so that was awesome.
Dude, that's so cool.
We used to do a 7S. There was like probably anywhere from 10 to 15 of us back then.
Really?
Yeah, and we would do a side bets. So like. And I would do the side bet even knowing I didn't even have $100 it was a $100 side bet, and we do a side bet. I wouldn't even have $100 in my pocket. I'm like, I'm gonna beat these guys. So there was one, I forget the guy's name. There was one guy. He
all 15 did a side bet, like a pro person.
Usually about half would do a side bet.
Nice.
And this one guy wanted to beat me so bad, and every time he held the money every time. And every time I drove up to that guy's trailer going, where's my money? So I was making money at MDR races.
Hey, Lee, would you mind if I started a side betting process at the new gas series?
Hey, I always encourage that, especially when we were doing the regionals. Like if somebody wants to come and sponsor a podium or this or that or do a side bet or buy everybody an In-N-Out gift certificate. It's all game just to make it fun and give the racers something back, So it's always been a good time doing little deals like that and whatnot. And there's a bunch of guys racing back then. I was always excited if I could beat the A-Arm 10 cars back then because we're racing all together.
Oh, yeah.
But, Fish, Fish was racing back then and what he called the Peace.
Yeah, the Peace.
I mean, there's just a bunch of kind of old school guys from way back when that were just out there every race, man.
Dude,
racing and getting it done.
I love these conversations. They can get me fired up because I like hearing all these stories about how people were so excited about doing it. So it kind of gives us a transition into how amped people are for the gas series. So everything going good, Lee?
Yeah, no, we're getting a lot of good interest and feedback, and we've got the bulk of the racers that basically the plug got pulled on it and they're sitting there ready to go, from the trophy carts and the UTVs and buggies and trucks and all that. But then, 2 or 3 limited buggy guys are pulling their cars out of mothballs. And I saw a couple trophy carts get sold and, this guy and that guy, a couple mini stocks. Oh, they're thrashing to get their stuff done, So, and another racer just came down for the Vora race this weekend and he got so inspired. He's like scrambling to find a production 1000 car to buy in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks so he can come back and race with us. So
cool.
2, 3, 4 in each class. That's awesome. I think it's really going to getting everybody stirred up, and time's getting short here. So everybody's going to be busy for the next couple of weeks. I know I am, that's for sure, but we're getting it done.
Yeah,
so.
you probably don't even have time to sleep. Well, I got a call from my buddy Matt Gerald in Wisconsin, said that he's going to come out, so he wants to hang out on April 11th at the first race.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, a couple back east guys, a pro buggy and a limited buggy guy, a UTV guy. So, kind of all over, people coming out to shake down out here, and a couple of the guys that are going back east to race for the summer are going to bring their trucks and stuff and run a round or two before they head back and get warmed up. So, Ricky G and Corey Winters trying to make it out for at least a shakedown. I don't know. And, handful of people trying to get done before the race and have a good showing. So
yeah, that'll be cool. Side note though, I got to introduce myself to this Ricky G kid because he literally lives like I could throw a rock at his house, wherever I move. So yeah. So Eliott, would you be stoked to race this gas series, or are you going to participate in any of them?
No, I'd love to, but unfortunately we sold our pro buggy right before they announced the series, so we were going to try and do it, but we sold the car we ran last year. We still have an older Lumicraft car that when I first jumped into the pro buggy class we got, and it's still sitting there in our shop. We've been trying to sell it, but nobody's really bitten on it yet, so I think I might dust the cobwebs off and bring it back out for the weekend.
See if she still runs. Get her going.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. It's like we said that last year, going to go run the first race just for fun and end up doing the whole series. And it's like we try and do it just for fun and might end up getting sucked back in to do the whole year again. So we're trying to play our cards out right now and might end up making it out, but we'll see what happens here in the next week or two.
Nice. That sounds like a lot of people are actually doing that, though, Lee.
Yeah. Like I said, we're getting some good interest across the board and working on, just all kinds of stuff behind the scenes. Working with USAC, so USAC's going to do the insurance for us this year. So there will be a, little bit of a fee. A lot of racers are used to it, but some of the, regional guys and girls that have raced with us, so going to have to pay just a little bit for the insurance, but it covers everybody. There's even insurance for crew guys. And then if you're planning on going back east, you should be able to buy the insurance and the license with us, and it'll work if you're running back east. So trying to kind of tie things together, make it easier, and vice versa if they want to come out here and run, So
that's great.
So we got that in place. And using their registration too. So we're down to the final couple of details, and the registration should be up this week, so everybody can start registering for all the classes and signing up and buying tickets and all that. So right now there's participants only. There's no limit on the team members and this and that. And then we did get opened up with the state opening up to the 20% for sporting events. So all our racers and people, quote, on the back gate are all good to go. And then we've got 300 tickets for Saturday and 300 tickets for Sunday to just kind of the one-off spectators, whoever wants to come that aren't with a team. So we'll be able to get a little bit of people in there, and hopefully it opens up even more by May. But that's better than nothing, At least we get 600 people in there to watch that wouldn't have been able to come that aren't with the team. So we're going to have that info up probably next week, and it's just 300 for Saturday, 300 for Sunday, and when they're gone, they're gone. So we'll start promoting that and get the word out when those go up for sale online. So,
dude, that's cool, man. It sounds like you guys have really been putting in the work. Poppy's been kicking butt, I guess, huh?
Yeah, she's kicking butt, and she's kicking my butt. She's highly organized and detail oriented, and I tend to maybe bounce around on 2 or 4 or 10 things at once. So she's like, okay, where's your list? Get it going, So she's good. She's kicking me in the butt, and I'm, looking at things that take some time and getting those in motion and, unwrapping trucks and taking stickers off and getting, working on getting all the branding changed and stuff like that, and kind of getting into some more of the mechanical stuff and all that stuff ready to go. We got the semi. We bought most of the equipment from Lucas Oil. So we got the big semi and trucks and trailers and registration trailer and timing and equipment and radios. I mean, we got all the tools we need, which is awesome. So safety stuff, we got all the safety tanks, safety employees, all the same firemen, EMTs in the trucks. Homatro's sending us jaws of life again, like we've had the last few years. So it's no shortcuts have been taken on the safety and the equipment and all that. So it's all the same good stuff, and replaced by Homatro and we'll be full top of the line safety stuff like we have been in the past. So
dude, that's
everybody
so good.
Should be comfortable with that.
There's so many moving pieces and moving parts to like having an organization like this, man.
I'm stoked to see Lee do it because his Sportsman series through Lucas was so good. Sometimes I thought it was better than the big series, So
there was one regional. I forgot what year it was. I think it was maybe 15 or 16. But we had at Glen Helen, we had 38 or 40 UTVs on the track.
So crazy.
And I think
it was crazy.
And I think
it was out of control. Actually,
I think 25 to 30 of them actually finished. And there was probably only 3 yellow flags. Like I don't know. Wow. It was like a miracle.
It was 30 something, and that's when I realized that's too much. It's like the Coke carts. We started.
We did. Do you remember that race? Do you remember that race at Paris Auto Speedway? Ricky Johnson put on.
Yeah,
dude, that was. We had 32 light buggies on that little track at one time. Right? Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. We were crashing all over the place. It was fun though.
What's the most people you've ever raced against in one short course race, Eliott?
I think it's got to be a couple of years ago at a UTV race at Wheatland, either there or at Crandon in the UTVs. I think in the Turbo UTV class there was like 40 cars or so, and it was just nuts. Cause
at least Crandon's open a little bit.
Yeah, but you have the land rush start, and it's like you're all funneling into turn 1 at once. Crazy, so it's just like it's nuts. So
dude, that is nuts.
They probably had 3 or 4 rows deep.
Yeah, exactly.
On the start with that many cars, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
That's crazy. Well, I'm stoked, Lee. I really do think that it's going to be awesome to be able to see everybody on April 11th, man. So I look forward to hanging out with you and obviously everybody that I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I don't know if you guys all caught the news last week. So, Dave and Robbie got big ideas and take over the off-road world kind of fun stuff. So we did that announcement last week that the class championship winner for this year in gas, Mod Kart, Production 1000, Production Turbo, Pro Buggy, Pro Light, and Pro 2, all those classes, the winner in each will go into an SST truck to race a special one-off race at King of the Hammers next year.
Wow.
And then
that'd be cool.
Trying to make another stepping stone from that and get some sponsors lined up that the winner of that can maybe go on and run the full year in SST. So just they've fully embraced and get the short course series, the family feel, the regional racers. We don't want to leave them behind and make some opportunities to climb that ladder and have a path maybe to go up through the classes and get into the big leagues. You know what I mean? So
I love hearing
that was
that,
a
man.
super exciting announcement.
Yeah, and Eliott eyes just lit up, so maybe that means he really is going to dust off the buggy and get out there.
I was about to say, what do you think, Jamie? Can you build a Talon in 2 weeks for that, or what do you?
This one looks good.
That's close enough, right?
Just put the lowrider.
We can make some adjustments.
Put the lowrider suspension on that.
Yeah.
And some 26-inch Hoosiers and go
All
for
day.
it, dude.
Get some shorter shocks on there.
Yeah,
Be ready to go.
Get going. Well, actually,
Don't tempt me, dude.
Well,
I think
you
I
can
have
race
it.
UTV and Pro Buggy, and then you got 2 shots.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Hey,
There you go.
look at this salesman over here.
Jeez.
Hey, so
And just the live stream. Dave and Hammer King have done the live stream at King of the Hammers, so they're bringing all that production to us, and we're just going to start growing those numbers and having top-notch live streaming going out, and just got some really exciting stuff for the year. And just got to get back on the track. Mostly the same rules. Most all the same classes are invited. And like you guys were saying, just got to get back to the family fun and the good times at the races.
I
and,
agree with
and
that,
treat the people
100%.
right. And we got the taco guy lined up for Saturday night, and the guy playing some music, and just hang out and have a beer and BS with your fellow racers and just good time stuff like that. So that's what we're trying to bring back. Kind of didn't lose it at the regionals, but just kind of bringing it back and having good times and making it fun again at the races on the weekends. So
yeah, that's what we were talking. We were going to talk about a subject called that. Off-road is usually a lifelong passion once you get hooked, and it sounds like you're trying to reignite that passion for some of these people that may have lost a little bit over the past couple years.
Yeah, absolutely. And just that's the thing. It just got not fun for some people, and maybe they went away or just winding down. And that's what we got to win them back and build it back up and start climbing the ladder again. And we got Optima back in as the title sponsor, and got a lot more other exciting stuff coming, just not ready to announce all the other stuff and get the momentum going back, what I feel, back up, because it's kind of been winding down the last couple of years.
Well, maybe you can just give us a little bit more specific. So I know that, because I have it on my schedule to go out on April 11th for the first race, but maybe you could give us a little bit of the schedule again. I know you've provided it before, and we'll link everybody online as well, but maybe you could just tell everybody the current schedule that's in place.
Yeah, so the first one is, couple weeks out here already, April 10th and 11th at Victorville, and get a good, and it's kind of the same thing. It's moving Thursday afternoon, Friday practice, Saturday morning qualifying, Saturday morning racing, same thing, Sunday again. So you can come either day if you're just a spectator, or for the racers, you'll be all there all weekend and get 2 rounds in. But the next race, May 22nd and 23rd, will be down at Glen Helen. And, everybody knows that track and that place. And we're going to try to get the vendors back and get the thing again. Hopefully we're opened up a little bit more by then, and get some more spectators in there and get that thing going again like it used to be. And then in the fall, October 9th and 10th, we're going to Reno, and that'll be good to get up to that track. It's such a big track and epic track viewing wise. And that'll be kind of cool, because the following weekend is Dave's final Ultra 4 race in the Nationals there. So there's 2 big events, 2 weekends in a row. And then come back down here November 13th and 14th and finish up at Glen Helen and finish off the year strong. And then trying to stay off the summer months when the guys are racing back east. A few pros in each class are committed to go back there, so try not to conflict with those guys, and they'll be able to be done and come back out for these couple of fall races and finish up the year real strong. So
yeah, that's good. That you were able to. That's super good that you were able to schedule it like that. Hey, so quick question, Eliott, is did you go over to Reno? I mean, we all like the Southern California tracks, but you went up to Reno, right?
I did go to Reno. Reno's rad because you have all the elevation changes there at that track. And Lee, I was going to ask you, what are you guys doing for track layouts? I saw something.
I was just going to ask
on
that.
social media. Yeah, I saw a little teaser that might be a new layout.
I'd like to see some more technical stuff rather than all the flat, fast. I don't know, but
yeah, we're gonna spike things up a little bit, and I've got and just like you're saying before, all the things that go into it. Well, some of our racers are building a gas station in Victorville, and they got 1,000 yards of free dirt. So we're trying to get a deal on a dump truck and dump it into Victorville and put some new features in. So that's just all the little things behind the scenes that are being worked on. And then we'll get down to Glen Helen next month and get that place tuned up and sharpen things up a little bit. And what's kind of cool is the two versions they did, and I'll reach out to the racers, but the one national race, they raced one track one day and the other track the other day. So I need to see what, is that something everybody wants to do, or they just want to concentrate on one track, one version of the track. And then Reno, I actually haven't been up there in a couple years, so I'll have to see what it needs. But other than a good prep, I don't think anything's happened up there in over a year. So it's definitely going to need a good prep and tune up and clean up on stuff. So, and I'm open to suggestions too, but that's a lot of people been seeing, even down to the trophy carts. It's gotten pretty smooth. And I was there, I was part of that, but you can't get too radical when the car count's going down, because you can't have people wrecking out and totaling trucks, but we'll definitely sharpen things up a little bit and make people work for it a little bit and get a little bit rougher again. So I definitely want to do that.
I think it's going to be super cool, man. Yep. I like all of this Bright Horizons kind of talk that we're talking about. Hey, quick question, Eliott. How fast did you get going in the buggy down the hill at Reno? Like, did you have GPS for
max
speed?
I did not, but we were geared for probably around 93, 94.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't even have thought that fast.
You're moving.
I know
pretty
you're
good.
going that fast.
So
yeah. Well, you guys are probably going faster than that, I would have to say, because our UTVs, I think the fastest speed because Dustin Nelson and I both had it, I think we hit 97.
So crazy, right?
Can you imagine, like, if you could actually keep up a pace like that? And, like, that's just insane.
Yeah, so nuts.
But man, I'm glad to hear all this stuff.
The craziest thing at Reno, the craziest thing, all the racers think they're hot stuff and this and that. The craziest thing to do at Reno is drive a full 4,000-gallon water truck down that hill.
I can only imagine.
Without dying.
So nuts.
I like that track, though, because it has elevation and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's different because it has elevation changes, so that makes it more, a little bit more exciting.
You're going so fast, that first turn creeps up on you so fast, though.
Dude, it really does.
And it's cool that that's one of the tracks on iRacing. So my kids are all the kids are just, and everybody's racing doing all the iRacing on that track as well, so they're just burning laps on it. And a bunch of them never even been there, so it's pretty cool. They're getting to experience it online, and later this year, go check it out. So,
dude, that is sweet. All right. Well, thanks, Lee, for calling in and letting us know all this great stuff that's going on, man. I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. You got any stories any more fun stories before we let Lee go?
I don't think so.
Did you guys ever
had a lot of fun?
Did you guys ever bash?
No, it wasn't like that.
No,
just,
different classes.
Yeah, we just, we were in the battle
burning laps and seeing each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun is that?
Yeah. The other cool thing we're doing this year, and Corey over at MP's helping out, is the Class 11s are going to be racing short course with us this year. So that's a whole other class that is going to be out there racing. There's a bunch of people getting their cars ready, and
that was like the old school Glen Helen series. Remember who put that?
Exactly.
Bob,
way back
when Bob put it on or whatever, and they used to run the big.
Bob did it, but even before him, in the mid '90s, right, there was another series, the Baja Cross thing, and everybody ran out there years and years ago. So back to Eliott, when I start telling my old stories and the good old days stuff. So I was asked the kids or some of the guys, like, wait, what were you born? And then I'd throw out in 87 we were doing this or whatever.
So funny. I'm kind of used to hear my dad. My dad used to race out all the time, so I've heard the stories a time or two from him, and him trying to tell stories with his buddies and saying who was faster than each other and all their, how it goes. So
Hey, dude, one day you're going to be the old guy talking stuff, too.
I know. It's going by quick.
Hey, Jamie, whatever happened to that Pro Buggy you sold? Did that car ever get put together?
My dream was to race Pro Buggies, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I built a pretty rad car, and I let it go too cheap, and then it got sold again. I think it's in Cabo. So
really? Okay. A bunch of cars been going down there, a bunch of limited buggies, and they're having a pretty good series down there with short course cars down there.
That car would have been. I should have kept it and tried to race it, but it had some innovation, and it had adjustable pivots and stuff on it, so it would have been really cool to try to tune it and get it tuned for like Glen Helen or something, and then go to a different track and practice and get it tuned for that, because you could change all the different A-arm geometries in the front end. You could change it. It was a pretty cool car. It was small too. It wasn't as big as like Elliott's Lumicraft. It was small.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I think it would have railed pretty good.
All I'm hearing here is like there's so much opportunity if we go down there and in Cabo and get that car and put it in Elliott's hands and get back to the gas series.
My buddy Twinkie had some cut. He's from Ensenada, and he had a client that wanted to buy it, and they came and they bought it. Reno Navarro actually had it for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Reno bought it from me. He was gonna build it, and then. Because I built him a light buggy that ended up G Brothers. Rick bought it from Reno, and it got raced. And then that's the car that Gunnar Kennedy's won 2 championships in. Yeah, so I built that light buggy that Gunnar's been winning in. And that's a bitchin' car.
Awesome.
It's a killer car.
Yeah, he said it turned totally different and better than his other car, and like he had to change the way he was driving because it was such a different and
I had Danny Fodrell. Danny Fodrell had to go back to his
the master.
Danny had to go back to his stadium days and build me some spindles that I wanted, and it was funny because when I called him and told him what I wanted, he goes, "I haven't built a set of those since Mickey Thompson." I said, "Well, that's what I want."
Nice.
And yeah, that car has some innovation in it too for a little light buggy, but yeah, it's a cool car.
Yeah.
Hey, so cool. Lee, real quick, can you explain the Class 11 for some of our audience that might know what that is, or excuse me, might not know what that is?
Yeah. So basically, they've been racing for 50 years or 30 years. I don't know, a long time. That's just a stock VW Bug. 1600 cc engine, and you have to run full bumpers, full fenders, and it's got upgraded shocks and just a little bit of stuff done to it, but basically stock 2 guys. So they always start in the back, and a ball joint front end has got less than 6 inches of travel on the front, and the back probably 9 on a swing axle or something. So very limited travel, and but they got good traction, so they can go anywhere. But now with the holes in the desert getting tore up so much from the big trophy truck tires, it just keeps getting brutal on them. But they had a real good turnout at the Moore race last month and had, I think, 20-something of them out there. So it was really cool to see them out there running again. So, yeah, good times. And it's kind of trendy right now. A lot of people are building Class 11s and going back to the basics. So
yeah, that would be interesting to see them on a short course track. I don't know about you guys, but
I've seen it at Glen Helen. They're rad. They do real good. Yeah.
How do they do over some of the bigger jumps?
Bounce.
It's just like the mini stocks. I mean, you guys got to check up. Some of our best racing is the little mini stocks. I mean, as far as racing and battles, and they got 1 shock per wheel and little tiny tires, and they just figure out how to get around there and have some really good battling and stuff. So I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, that is super cool. Well, like I said, Lee, thank you very much for putting all this stuff together. I know you and everybody on your team is working your tails off.
Yep, no problem, man. It's all going to be worth it here in a few weeks when we get everybody back out on the track. And just from the kids, I've always been partial to the trophy carts and stuff, and just all the way up through to the big trucks, and just going to be super stoked when we hit that track and make some noise and throw some dirt. So it's going to be good to get everybody back out there and charging forward again, and short course for the West Coast, that's for sure.
I agree 100%. So, well, thank you very much for coming on and letting our audience know. So if you want to go check it out, it's GA Short Course on Instagram, right?
Yeah, and GreatAmericanShortCourse.com for all the schedule, driver's info. The rules are up. Registration will be up very soon, so find us on Instagram and social media, and we'll be posting on there when things are updated. And we've got a big email list of the drivers, so they're getting all the information. And if somebody's wanting to sign up, you can call, email, text us, whatever. We'll get you on the driver's list and get all that info out so everybody can get signed up and be ready to go.
Sweet. So, okay. Well, thanks, bud. I'll let you get back to the family. Appreciate it, Lee.
See you, Lee.
Nice talking to you, Lee.
Nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, you too.
See you soon.
See ya.
All right. See you, man. Bye.
That's so cool that he's like, you can just hear it in his voice, the enthusiasm, right?
Yeah. No, it's funny that he's doing that because I was like one of the regionals I went to. I'm like, dude, when you gonna just do your own?
Yep.
You know, and that was when we already knew Lucas was kind of on his way out,
right?
Deal, and you know, he's passionate about it. You know,
he really is.
That's what that sport needs, because else it's just gonna keep failing. You know, so. And
the passion is what drives it, right? Like, so, yeah. Well, we had a few people comment in. Looks like our buddy Eliott Cook is watching now. Hopefully he's still watching, because we haven't answered his comment for a little while. But, hey, Eliott, how's it going, buddy? And you know who Tyrone Robinson is, either of you guys? So,
I don't.
Yeah,
you muted me, man.
Sorry,
I do
bud.
know him. He races RC cars with me a little bit, so I do time to time race RC cars. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but
Tyrone's a friend of the show, man. I've been trying to get out and race
Nice.
RC cars with him for a while now.
It's fun.
What kind of RC car do you have?
I was on Techno's team for a couple of years, so they've been
look at
helping me
you,
out.
factory
I know, right?
RC guy.
Jeez, dude, it was fun for a little bit. No, I went to a couple races a few years ago, and I've made it into like the Roar Nationals A main a few years back. I was into it, man. There was a local track, Ricochet RC, that opened up my house, and I would just jam over after school and go run a couple batteries and whatnot, and that was a good use of time, I guess. I learned a lot about setting up a car, because there's so much you can apply on that thing that goes.
Absolutely.
It's funny he says that, because I try, like, you know, getting into this UTV world a little bit over the last 2 years. You know, you get customers don't know a lot of that kind of, you know, geometry, suspension geometry, and all this stuff, and you try to explain to them, they don't really know. And actually, if you go into the RC car world,
you learn the basics.
You learn a lot, and it's a way easier language to learn it. Like, I've read suspension geometry books and stuff from like IndyCar books and all this stuff to learn about Ackerman and all this stuff. But you Google like RC car suspension geometry or Ackerman, and they explain it. It's all the same. Yeah. There's no different. Roll center of gravity, they all have it.
Camber toe,
but
everything.
They can explain it so much easier. So when I talk to customers, even about Honda Talons and stuff, and I try to explain things to them, I tell them Google that.
Yep.
And then 9 out of 10 of them call me back and go, "Dude, that was the best thing I ever read." You know, so they start to understand it more. Mm-hmm. And I mean, look how fast those little things go on a track.
Yeah.
You know,
the power to weight.
And you're like,
insane.
wow.
Insane,
you know, and there really is a lot of setup in those things. You know,
if you look at like a 2-wheel drive buggy RC car, it's literally 10 times smaller than like the Pro buggy you were just talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you change the front spring on the RC car, it's like exactly what they would do on the Pro buggy. You do toe change, camber change, and it's super. Yeah. When we were racing, like I was trying to learn the whole Pro buggy deal, it's like I would just go and try stuff on there. I'm like, oh, that worked. I can try on the big car, you know.
And not that you can feel it like with the steering wheel, but you can feel it with the controller on what it does with your RC car. So it kind of makes you think like it's going to do that with your big car.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing about RC car racing, it's like your consistency level, because you have to race and focus up so hard for that, you know, however long the race is, and that's kind of, you know, you just go that whole time without trying to crash that little car, because, you know, it's like so light and it flips so easily. And
your fingers get tired. Your fingers get tired.
Like I get the shakes up there, dude. It's all like jittery.
Dude, my ADD kicks in, and I'll get like one good lap, and then I'm just toast.
So funny, huh?
I do love racing me some RC cars, though, and that's how I know Tyrone, because our co-host from Arizona, you've spoken with, Eliott, Casey Peck, he's a professional RC car driver as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
sweet.
All right, well, we're gonna get like really deep into your guys' stories in just a second after the commercial break, but I got one question before we go into the commercial break, because I've never done this, and I would like, well, I'll do it as a two-part question. First, I want to ask Eliott how racing is in Baja, because I think last year was the first time you got to do it, and then to even follow it up, Jamie, how is it racing in Baja on a dirt bike? So go ahead, Eliott.
Actually, my first time racing in Baja was in 2016. I got the chance to race in a RaceCo 10 car with Travis Clark and Pat Daly. So I was 15 or 16. I was definitely not mature enough to go out and do it. I was kind of thrown out in the middle of the night and thrown with like some silt, and got to experience that from silt, fog, rocks, all the above. And It was kind of an eye-opener. It really got me to slow down a lot, but after learning that, it kind of helped me mature as a driver all the way through, because especially in a race like that, it was a peninsula run, 1,200 miles, and there's so much stuff. If you get a flat tire,
dude,
set
that's
you back
so
10
gnarly.
minutes, and I was a little young doing it, but I had a blast, and there I kind of sat on it for a couple of years and got the opportunity to go back and race it this past year, and it kind of I felt way more mature and ready to tackle it after doing it before, and then attacking it after I had a lot more seat time and a lot more races under my belt and all that sort of thing.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. And actually, you can probably even expand on that more, like the maturity level that you have to have on a dirt bike.
Oh, dude, I raced my first BAJA 1000 when I was 16 on a bike.
Really?
Yeah, and I ate it. Broke my ankle, the whole deal. So they're definitely, and then over the years, obviously, you got to gain maturity, but that comes with experience going down there pre-running. Obviously, I had an older brother that was really good at it, and we would ride and pre-run together all the time and stuff, and so racing bikes down there is definitely, like I said earlier, it's you can't ride 100%.
To me,
you have to race.
It seems so gnarly.
It's
dude.
hard not to twist the throttle, because there's a lot of course that you could go 100.
Right.
We're going 100 plus miles an hour on a bike, but there's so many things. Even in a car, you got to worry about. You come around a corner, there's cows, there's traffic. The roads aren't closed. That could be their road going to their house or whatever. So on a bike, you have to always have in the back of your mind, if I come around this corner, on the outside of the corner, I could hit a car or cow or whatever.
Yep.
So that's always treacherous. When we've had to open the road, like first bike off, I've never had to experience, but Johnny has, and that's even more pressure, because there's been fences that are closed still. Some of the the locals back then, not so much as like even at the 1,000 this year, I don't really see any booby traps or anything, but back in the 90s, there was a lot of.
It seems like they're clearing the course pretty
good.
There
was a lot more activity, like people building. They think they're building a jump, but it's basically a curb that you're going to hit at 100 on a bike and wad it up pretty hard. So, but those are the things on the bike that it gets scary. I mean, I always had fear. There's always a fear that you could hit something or.
Well, the reason that I wanted to ask both of those questions was because I kind of wanted to lay a little bit of groundwork, because first of all, I think it's gnarly to race Baja no matter what vehicle you're in, especially.
Oh yeah, it's no different in a car. I mean, I've raced Class 1 down there. I've raced my 7S truck back in the day down there. Now UTVs, with the Honda Talon, and you still have to have the same mentality, because you still got to beat Baja.
Right.
Or you still got to beat the desert. It's,
So that makes a lot of sense. You're kind of good, like on the same wavelength as I am right now, because I'm wondering, like, with the advent of side-by-sides and them getting so progressive and so good now, it almost feels like everybody wants to be able to go down there and race Baja. It's not quite as gnarly in people's minds, even though you're saying it is. It's still really gnarly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I've made mistakes on both, so. Right. Usually when you make a mistake on a bike, though, you're getting hurt.
Yeah.
So
a good point. Well, I do really like that the side-by-sides are gaining so much momentum, because it's really putting a lot of extra resources, extra momentum, and all this stuff into desert racing, whether it's best in the desert all the way down to score. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's even like Lee was saying. I mean, there's so many people signing up. Although I would never ever race an 11 car in a race like that. Ever.
Break your back.
Dude, seriously. Just punishing yourself, right? All right, so it's getting close to 6 o'clock. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Shock Therapy, the premier UTV suspension tuning company. We test daily with the leading manufacturers in the industry to perfect our shock tunes and race-proven components for all UTVs. Whether it's high-speed racing or slower trails, we have a suspension tune that is perfect for your driving style. Visit shocktherapist.com to improve your ride today. Shock Therapy,
Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our products in action. Zollinger Racing, the best products, period. Yeah, finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I've been trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch. You can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans, like let's say a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there, or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up
You can patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah. Also, as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel. And then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything, so that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
it's
the
like a first
truck.
aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy, we are back. Man, it was so good to talk with Lee from the Great American Shortcourse Series. I can't wait to see everybody at the track. It's going to be awesome to be able to get back to racing on the West Coast and having the short course stuff. Who knows? Maybe even Eliott Watson will get his buggy all rinsed off and get some more action going. I'm going to switch out to this a little bit more of a wide-angle view, so you might be able to see Elliott's sweet Dirt Life helmet over there.
That thing's sweet, dude.
Dude, that thing works good, huh?
I hit a fat jump at this earlier.
The guy that doesn't like jumping hit fat jump.
So fat.
Okay, so we are going to talk a little bit about how you kind of got into the whole racing thing and then your prowess. I mean, you've won so many championships. Well, a good amount of championships in the short course series, man. Like, how did you even get into off-road racing?
So it's been kind of my family legacy for a while. My dad started racing when he was 20 years old, and my grandpa bought my dad's first race car at a coffee shop, so I think they were just kind of messing around and then bought him a race car. Yeah, and they always went to the dunes and had a good time with it, but my dad's first race was, I think, Parker 425 back in, I don't know, I think 19... I don't know. It was.
See, he doesn't even know.
It was 40. This last year was 40 years ago. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, I'm just joking.
What a jerk, dude.
It was 40 years ago. This last Parker, I was there racing a spec truck, and my dad was like, "Yeah, 40 years ago, this is my first off-road race,
That's
racing
cool.
here in Parker." So
that's rad, man.
He got into it. Then he started racing Baja, and he won 4 desert championships in a row down there from 04 to 07 in Class 12 and Score Light class. So he's a big buggy dork. That's kind of where we got it from. And I started racing. I was 4 years old at our local fairgrounds. Had circle track races, and I raced a mini door stock car. So,
dude, it's the age-old story, right, Jamie? Like, you just grow up in the dirt. That's the reason we have this show.
So crazy, right? So, Brock Hager, he races for Factory Yamaha. He's my next-door neighbor, and there's a couple other guys like Brock Dickerson, and they all live down by us, and we all got thrown into racing circle track at such a young age, and we kind of chase each other coming up to the ranks, and did that, run 2 championships there, and when I was 10 years old, I started jumping into the Lucas Oil Short Course Series with the trophy cart. And
so you've been doing it pretty much your whole life, I guess, right?
Literally, yeah. I've started pre-running with my dad when I was 4 or 5, and just been down in Baja a lot, and I got a lot of miles for being 20 years old, so it's kind of crazy to think about it like that.
It is super cool, though. And, I mean, obviously, we're clearly a lot older than Eliott is, but it's the same. It's the age-old story, right? Like, same with me, like parents, family lineage, going to
I mean, my dad was a big recreational, go camping, do that type of stuff, but he's the one that brought us up racing SRA. So, SRA Grand Prix.
But you guys started on 2 wheels, though.
Yeah, 2 wheels. Yeah. I built my first truck when I was 18.
Really?
I was still racing bikes, but I out of high school, in high school, I got a job. I started off working at a Volkswagen repair shop in San Clemente called Shade Tree.
Oh, nice.
And they raced 1600s in Class 9 and all that. So I got to help them work on their race cars a little bit.
So that's how you got into
the
four-wheel stuff.
That's how I got in. Yeah, and then I worked at an off-road shop after that in San Clemente called Full Tilt, and that's my buddy and I that worked with me. We decided to build a truck, a little stock mini Ford Ranger, and
nice.
We raced it like twice. We couldn't afford it, So, but we built it in his garage. It took us like a year.
Was it daily driver too?
Oh no, but it was a full roach. It was really bad. Like we learned how to weld on it and stuff, So
so crazy.
But you guys did it though.
Oh yeah,
that's super cool.
I mean, the only reason I started racing 4 wheels is I wanted to do it so bad, so I had to teach myself how to fabricate.
Yeah.
And my first couple trucks I built by myself in my garage, you know? So just like a lot of these kids nowadays are doing.
Just went out and bought a welder.
Yeah. Just hand grinder and a welder and chop saw and
start accumulating tools over the years.
Mm-hmm. So.
Have you ever done any fabricating or any welding or anything, Eliott, or no?
I was just telling Jamie earlier about my first time welding, so I'm not a fabricator at all. I need to learn it. I want to learn it, but my first time fabricating, I think I was about 12 years old. Brock Hager and I were at my company's Christmas party there, and my dad, someone was using the welder and it was on. I'm like, hey, can you show us how to work this thing? And there's it's on, but they didn't have any metal or anything laying around. So one of our guys, he still helps out pretty much with our race program, is Roy. He had his toolbox sitting there, and he had some wrenches in there. My dad's like, oh, just start welding those things together. So he just took all his wrenches and started just boogering up together, and they came out so terrible. Then
that's hilarious.
Roy came over a couple hours later, and there's just a stack of 30 wrenches all
they're snap-on
together.
Snap-on wrenches.
Probably might have been so funny, but he hates when I tell the story because he just walks around the corner, his eyes just get so big, and he's like, what did you guys do with all my tools and all of his wrenches?
Because you smoked all his tools.
Yeah. So that's my beginning and ending of fabrication. I actually, me and Brock built my sim frame. For iRacing, we built the sim this year for when the whole pandemic thing hit, and
nice.
We kind of boogered up a little sim chassis and had a little steering wheel there and welded the seat, and thankfully it doesn't move or else it'd snap right away, but I'm starting to kind of flex a little bit when I even sit in it, so it's starting to fall apart a little bit. But
I think you might know a guy that you could get some tips from.
I know,
right? That's actually a good segue into what I was going to talk about with you, is because one of the things that I think is most fascinating with you, Eliott, is that you're so goal-oriented and goal-driven. I mean, you've come up through off-road racing, and you've done so well in off-road racing. But even more amazing to me is you're so driven to be educated, and you're going to school to be an engineer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the electrical engineering, it's nuts. So that's what I'm going to school for right now, and our family owns an electrical contracting company, so I'm hoping I can tie that in somehow over there. But it's nuts. The last semester, when we got sent home from school, we've been doing it all online, but that's why we got to race so much.
You like it better doing it online or no?
I like the conveniency of it, but I don't feel like I take as much away from it. So, last semester, racing probably has to do a little bit of it. Like last year, I did my midterms in Chandler in a hotel room after practice. I went and practiced, and I came back to the hotel, and I took 2 midterms, then, raced that weekend. Then finals, I actually took the week of the 1,000 there in Ensenada. So it's that part about it's nice. I got to go pre-run at night. Then I took, 5 tests throughout that week trying to scramble it all together, and it was hard. That 1,000 week could kill me, trying to go and pre-run at night, then get back and go do tests in the morning and all, and try and
multitasking.
It was nuts. So I had a blast and super thankful to be able to have the opportunity to do it. But it was it's different dedication level. I don't even know how I, just powering through like no sleep, trying to get through and go figure out and remember.
Hey, so he's going through all the young guy phases right now, right? But so Jamie, you and I we can answer this question wholeheartedly, being like, what has racing and what has the off-road industry taught us now, right? But he's going through it right now, so let's ask him the question. What do you think racing is teaching you to be better at in school, and then vice versa?
I think racing, it teaches me, there's a lot of things actually, but I think one is the hands-on thing, like just being able to go and work on the car and see what changes do to the car. Like say if you go mess with the shock and you go and you mess with it, you change it, you adjust it a certain way, then being able to go and apply.
So are you able to do any of the electrical engineering stuff hands-on?
At school, we're getting pretty hands-on with it and all, but I haven't really dabbled into it with the racing stuff yet.
Oh.
So I need to. I need to. I think
it could probably cross over, huh?
I hope so. We're working on a couple things. I think that'd be pretty
Look
awesome.
Look at this guy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. What? So you think it's going to help your race team then when he comes out of school coming in hot with all these wiring harnesses and all this crazy good stuff?
Sheesh.
Dude,
keep working at it. I mean, I didn't have a direction after high school. I didn't want to go to college or anything, and that just wasn't my thing. But it's cool to see him.
It really is
working hard as a young adult, right? Working hard at it, and
I admire it so much. I mean, he's clearly younger than us, but I admire it so much because for us, or for me at least, it was one or the other. It was either racing or education, and he's doing both, and he's fitting in the time.
I had to work to make money to go racing. Yeah. So, my dad passed away when Johnny and I were kids. So, we worked hard. I had a job when I was 13, working at Shade Tree. But, and once I figured out that I wanted to start fabricating more and stuff, that's when I really, and that probably wasn't until 20, 21 or something. And then I'm like, I want to do this, I think I was pre-running down in Baja. I was up at Mike's Sky Ranch, and I saw Derek Nye there from Dirt Bags.
Yep.
And he was hanging out with Jerry Pinhall from Pinhall Fabrication, and I've known Derek a long time, but I didn't know Jerry, and he was like, well, let me introduce you, because I'm like, hey, does he want to hire anybody to learn and all stuff? And he's like, well, let's hang out with him. So I met Jerry there, and he's like, hey, come talk to me next week after the race, and we'll see. And I went in there, and he gave me a job, and then it was like, okay.
That's so cool, man.
First job I have, you're going to build a whole chassis.
Yep.
I didn't know how to build a chassis. I'm like, what?
Yeah, but it's that whole, and this is exactly the reason why I talked about, starting the show, because it's that whole racer off-road mentality. You just go, even if you're thrown in the fire, you get out. You can build stuff, you can figure it out, and that's what electrical engineers do. That's what fabricators do. You guys are born and bred in the racing environment, and you've been able to understand how to build a business from it. And I think that's what Eliott's learning right now.
Yeah.
Trying to.
It's super cool to see, man. And we're going to talk a lot more about your business too, Jamie, too. But I'm really impressed, Eliott. I really am. Just you being able to go to the short course races and have to juggle that school stuff. It's impressive, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thankfully last year it was all online, so I was able to go and do stuff at the track. But when it was on campus, it was tough to be able to get away from Miss Classic for a couple of days just to go out and do the racing stuff. But last year there's all the things that happened. I just think that was one of the main takeaways that our family had from it, was being able to go and do all this racing stuff and be able to, focus on it a little more.
So it was enjoyable for you guys at least?
Yeah. No, we had a great time with it, especially going back to all the short course races. We weren't planning on doing that. We went to the first round just for fun, and that was kind of a good getaway, because it was the first race that opened up since the pandemic. I think it shut down, and Glen Helen happened, and it was our first real thing.
All of a sudden he gets a hall pass. He's like, we're going racing.
Right? And now being a dad, I have older girls too, and being involved with your kid, whether it's playing baseball or whatever it is, right, off-road racing, his family is behind him and they're supporting it, and that's what I've always tried to do with my girls. And You know, you see so many kids his age that are, you know, they're out partying, doing whatever it is, and their parents don't care what they're doing. They don't care where they're at.
Yep.
You know, I dealt with that a lot with friends of my daughters, you know, and I just, like, my dad instilled that into my brother and I, that, you know, we're a family, we do family things together. You know, my mom kept my brother and I racing after he passed because she knew that that's what we wanted to do, you know. So,
but it builds so many different fundamentals, man.
Yeah.
Like, I know that, like, and that's where I'm going with this whole topic is, like, Eliott might not realize it now. You clearly realize it because it's going down the next generation for you, and your dad had the generations with him, and it's so cool for me to see. Like, you're doing it right now. You're literally living it right now, and you're living the dirt life, and it's creating who you're going to be in the next 10 years. It's badass, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I'm stoked about it. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
he forced me to go race again.
He's like, get off your ass. Let's go.
Let's go, dude.
Hey, are you you need to race Parker. I'm like, oh, God, I just need to work and make money, you know. No, you need to go race. I haven't raced in like 10 years. Really, I haven't raced in that for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, now he's like, you got to go race.
Let's go do it, dude.
Oh, man. Okay.
That's cool, though. You probably actually like the drive, though, yeah?
Oh, I love racing, yeah. I mean, I had some really killer opportunities in the past to, you know, race everything from, like we talked about, like class 1600 up to, I've never done an 11 car or 9 car, but
thank God.
I really don't want to.
That decision saved your back.
But, you know, back in 2010, I actually worked for Cameron Steele for a while, and Cameron gave me some pretty cool opportunities to race with Heidi and him, and I got to drive his trophy truck a few times, and it was, I mean, you don't get opportunities like that all the time, you know.
Well,
so.
you also don't get opportunities like that without putting in a shitload of work. You got to prove yourself to be able to even touch the steering wheel in any of those vehicles.
But you know, after motos, you know, I retired from motor racing in '97, so, or '98 really, but you know, my passion was 4 wheels, and I did a couple, you know, I built a couple cars, and, you know, built a class 1 car for a while. Couldn't afford it, but built it, and raced it a few times, did well, you know, but now, you know, just starting RaceCo, I've been over since 2011 when I resurrected RaceCo. I've just been trying to concentrate on the business and stuff and whatnot. But yeah,
that's what creates these opportunities to link up with the new generation of talent, right?
What was cool is when I did this Talon, and Mikey Sandoval, who works for me also, he's actually the District 38 Unlimited champion from last year.
Yeah, and he's the one with the white car.
Yeah,
right?
Mikey him and his dad just got a Talon, and they've been building it, and so he's you know, he works for me, but he's like one of our team guys, you know, let's call it. But
I actually had somebody comment in when we posted a picture of that white car in our story, and I posted it because it's something that you built. Like, it's something that's awesome that you guys produce.
Him and his dad go, you got to come down and just race one of these District 38s, you know. And I'm like, okay. So I go down there, and guess what? It's, you know, it's fun. It's fairly inexpensive.
Yeah.
And I got done. I was so happy. I was like, this is so much fun.
So much fun.
You know, and so
you read.
Yeah, he came to one.
It's 10 minutes from my house there in
I beat him.
City. Hey, easy, dude. God, throw jabs now. Dang, getting back at me. So
old guy beat him.
No, it's in my local desert there in Foster City and Superstition. So
dude, he even beat you in your local desert, bro.
He raced a car that he raced at King of the Hammers, right? So that thing was pretty hammered.
Yeah,
so he broke a ball joint or something, but.
That's cool.
But so Mikey and I chased him for like the first lap, and he knew where he was going. I didn't know where I was going. I've only raced down there a couple times. And so we just kind of followed him, but then Mikey caught me, and I let Mikey go. Cause I'm like, I'm gonna let these two kids take each other out.
That's exactly.
He
what
took
happened.
him out, but Mikey,
so bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, that maturity.
I was back here. Oh, dude, totally. But those races, you actually have to. I think you need to go out like a moto race and drive hard the whole time, because there's fast guys down there.
So this is where I was talking about that whole short course thing. It's kind of like the short course thing, and the intensity is following into desert now.
2 races in a row, I went out like, okay, I'm going to be the old guy. I'm going to let these guys go battle and break each other. And I lost both times. I'm like, shit. Next race, I go, I'm going to go full. And I got second overall. And I was But it's like, I had to hammer the whole time.
So, and that's what I was talking about like, again, the short course intensity coming up. Because, like, to win Parker, you had to go freaking balls to the wall right from the get-go.
I was driving 100% the whole time.
Yeah.
I was. And, we race a rally class, but there was some
It doesn't
good
matter if you're in
guys.
the rally class or the pro turbo class.
Yeah.
Those guys go balls to the wall from the get-go now.
Yeah, we were driving hard.
It's cool. It's cool to see that, though. And the UTVs, like in the Rhino days, are now like, even like, we'll call it like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
There's no way a UTV would finish if you drove like that.
So insane, right?
And now, like, the stuff that you guys are, well, actually, let's transition into this a little bit, because I want to lay a little bit of the backstory. The stuff that you guys are building, like RaceCo and all these other companies, like, that's what lays the foundation for how fast people can actually go now.
Yeah, we're trying to build, parts inspired by racing, not just, selling stuff off the shelf because I can. I want to make performance parts, so, we're not just copying parts that we pull off the car. We're actually scanning them and looking at them on the computer and seeing if we could make it better, or just geometry wise even. So
we won't be able to like actually show a lot of the parts, but maybe like I'll show a picture of the car that's sitting right behind us, and maybe you can give a little bit of an understanding of what kind of parts a vehicle like this you guys do make for.
Mainly, when the Talon came out, obviously I've been a Honda guy for a long time, so that was my motivation, but because I didn't want anything to do with UTVs. I'm like, I don't need those things.
You're one of those guys?
I'm building these, I'm building the off-road stuff and, whatever. But, I'm more of a buggy dork too. But Honda came out, and I'm like, dude, I got to do it,
And so this car has a cage.
We build a production cage. We have different A-arms for different applications. So there's an X and an R model Honda. So we do arms for both of those. We do rear trailing arms. We do bunch of different bracket kits that reinforce the chassis pivots and stuff.
You're even telling me that you were making some spindles that
yeah,
those things look. First of all, those things are pieces of art, dude.
I just built him a set. So, but yeah, the stock ones are they're good, but you have to put a max mileage on them, I believe. He had a lot of miles on his.
They time out at a certain
they time out.
Yeah.
Just fatigue and whatnot. So. But we built some chromoly ones. They're way too crazy.
Dude, they are freaking beautiful, though.
But so like, I want to build parts that you could race on.
Yeah.
So even the car the Talon we built for the BAJA 1000 last year that we won with, it had all my bolt-on parts. Obviously, there's a lot more fabrication to do a car like that. So the chassis was more elaborate, that kind of stuff. But
hey, so while we're talking about parts, the KWT filters guys said, "Looking awesome, guys," from the KWT team.
Thank you guys too. They came on board.
So they're part of your team, right?
Before the 1000, I saw them at a race, and I can't remember where, but I was talking to them, and I liked their unit because there was no power to it or anything, and I was skeptical.
Well, before you say how you like it, tell us what it does.
So what their particle separator does, it's like
a pre-filter.
Yeah,
right?
It's a pre-filter. It's really not a filter though. It's more of a scavenging device. So when the dirt goes in, it scavenges around, and it collects in a tray before it goes into the air filter. So I don't know all the technology on it, but Ken over there, he's just the mastermind behind that thing. And but I knew. So the Honda has their air filters. In my opinion, not very substantial for desert racing. So I contacted those guys before the 1000, and they were just on board from day one. Like, hey, we're going to hook you up, blah, blah, blah. So we did the whole BAJA 1000 on one air filter.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's like impossible. Yeah.
Like I said, the Honda filter is not great, but but yeah, that thing, if we didn't have it, we would have had to do 10 filter changes, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those guys are stoked. They just hooked Eliott up today.
Yep.
Nice.
I made
this bad boy?
Oh, yeah. I made the stop on my way out here.
Oh, wait. I think I see a KWT sticker over there. Yep.
There you go,
on the lower door corner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I made a full trip today. Made there earlier this morning, got all installed, and quick little video coming out there, and ended up here this evening.
Look at you, driver, sponsor guy. Getting it all done. So that actually brings me to my next point that I was wanting to talk about, and that was, we kind of talked about it a little bit before, the differences between short course and desert, and Eliott is a good person to talk about it, at least in the younger generation. you guys did really, really well in the Baja 1000 last year. Maybe, coming home with victories, actually. The Unlimited class with Eliott, and then Pro NA class with you, Jamie.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we went down there. The cars we built were for a couple guys, Paul Barnhart and Francisco Arredondo. And I raced with Francisco, and I brought Cisco Bio on board. He's a longtime friend of mine. His dad's famous Class 9 racer, Pancho Bio. But anyways, yeah, we finished those cars, and we only had 30, 40 miles of testing on them. And Wayne from Alltech went and helped me tune on stuff, the Fox shocks and stuff. And we just had a good, solid day in our car. We didn't make any mistakes, just drove around. We'd pre-ran a lot. Cisco and I pre-ran a lot, and that was Francisco's first four-wheel. He's a past 1X bike champion, actually. I think I can't remember the year that he won that thing, but yeah, he didn't have very much time in the car, and but he did great.
Well, so one of the things that I got from that statement was there's so many people moving into the side-by-side industry or in the side-by-side racing. Has your dad driven a side-by-side, Eliott? Like, is he like him?
He does. He's still a buggy
Or is he
dork at heart.
Oh, here we go. Here we go, dude.
It's funny. He has his own Talon that he got last year, and he's like only driven it a handful of times, and he goes out and cruises around the desert like chasing me sometimes. But
loves it.
He does. It's cool. It's something for us to do on the weekends. We'll just go and leave our house and go cruise around 150 miles or so and come back. And
he's lucky he could drive right out of his driveway.
That's cool.
Like the last District 38 race we ran, I just drove the car straight from my house. We got it thrown back together after Parker, and he had to shake it down real quick to make sure it all worked before he got to the track. And
I think he showed up like 2 minutes before the start.
Yeah,
because he was calling me panicking. My car doesn't run.
When in Parker, I was pissed off getting out of the car, and I left the intercom on, and it killed the battery throughout the week. I didn't start it before the race. I'm like. So I got jump started, then I drove it down my driveway, and it when these things with the transmissions, how they shift, when it has low voltage, it puts into a limp mode. But it put into a limp mode, but I couldn't tell what the code was, so I called Jamie hey, do you think there's something that got messed up in the diff or in the transmission or something? Just down the line. He's like,
what did you tell him? Just throwing in
battery? I just said drive it. I mean, I just said go drive it, or I don't even remember what I can't remember.
You said you're kind of out of luck.
Yeah.
So I swapped the battery out and. Just the way we went and kind of cruised on along.
Nice, dude.
So funny.
Shows up right before the race.
Literally
Did
drove.
you do good?
We were we were second overall. The first car without a turbo.
Yeah, first NA car.
So
there's a big misconception about these Hondas. They don't have horsepower, but the transmission makes up for a lot of it.
Dude.
And if you know how to drive it, it's amazing what they do.
I'm telling you, and I'm just a UTV guy in general. Like, I love them, every single manufacturer, all of their power plants, all this stuff. But I'm a huge proponent of shaft drive. Like, I love it. Like, I've been a YXZ guy for the last few years. I mean, I raced the Polaris at the UTV World Championship, but I love shaft-driven vehicles, man, and I love being able to manipulate the car with the transmission.
Yeah,
it's just so cool, and to see you guys be able to do it with these, even with the paddle shift, is awesome.
Yeah, I don't know about him, but I drove a customer's turbo car, and I shouldn't have drove it because it was just really fast.
It's fast,
and I was like, gosh dang it, why did I do that for? But we're like at the Parker race. I was battling and passing turbo Can-Ams and Polarises the whole race. Yeah,
that's cool.
I wish I had a little bit more here and there, but they do good. You got to keep them. You got to keep it going, like momentum. It's that whole momentum thing. And
dude, there's been so many conversations that we as racers have all been a part of over the last 5 years, right? Like, whether it's a race car, like a Class 1 car, a 10 car, or now in the side-by-sides, right? Like, oh, we're blowing belts. Oh, well, now they hardly blow belts, right? Like, they just – the belts last so long, and now these things are coming. Like, I can only imagine what we're going to be talking about in 3 years from now.
Crazy, right?
It's so cool, though. Like, these conversations are so awesome.
I can't believe it. These things are evolving so crazy fast.
That's what I mean. Like,
just with what the manufacturers are doing, I'm curious to see what this new Polaris is going to be. If and then Robbie's coming out with his car and
exactly.
Whatever. So it's like. Yeah, it's gonna get even
the evolution.
crazier. Yeah, it's gonna get way crazy.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. And I don't know if you feel like it, dude, but seeing some of the parts, seeing some of the cars that you've built, like you're on the forefront of that, Jamie. Like I think you should give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back, dude. Because first of all, you're doing a phenomenal job, but you may not understand all of the knowledge, all of the dirt life stuff that we talked about that Eliott is going through right now. You've been through those processes already, and now you're applying all that stuff into your Talon programs and helping build that again.
Well, I think that's why we did pretty well at the 1,000, or so well at the 1,000, I guess I should say. But like, I took a lot of the, my experience that I learned even with off-road cars and put that same effort into the Talon when we showed up at the start line. And, like I said, we had a pretty flawless, I think we had one flat tire.
That's,
we missed a VCP. So we won the overall down there. And then, we missed a VCP by like 60 feet or something. And it was a pretty common, a lot of people missed it. Some people are like, oh, you guys cheated and all that stuff. It's like, no, we didn't cheat. We just, it was a mistake. We missed it.
Yeah.
So we got a 10-minute penalty for that, so we lost the overall by 50 seconds. So Wes won, Wes got the win, and he deserves it. Yeah, he did great. It's funny, he posted a video like a week ago or something.
Yeah. And
he was broken fixing his car, and we went by him. And he's like, what was that? It's like, that was a 1900 car, So I was laughing. So I sent him a message. He's all, that was killer, huh? I go, that was funny.
That was, that's awesome,
good.
though.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing I'm talking about. Like, everybody's like the camaraderie in the side-by-side industry, and everybody's out there to have fun. And, well, first of all, like I didn't say it before, congratulations to both of you guys on those performances.
No, I mean, he won his deal, and, I was happy to catch their car, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, go passing. Were you pissed?
He wasn't in the car.
I
think Steven was, right? Yeah, Steven Eugenio was in the car.
He had a broken header the last couple little mileage, so he was just kind of limping it back to the pit and got all swapped out, and there goes Jamie.
So San Felipe is I did the whole San Felipe loop, though, from Valley de Trinidad all the way up.
That's a good portion of it,
all the way up to Highway 3 where it crossed the highway right there. And San Felipe is my deal. I love it. A lot of people don't like Felipe, but I do good there.
You're stoked on it.
And nighttime is, now that my eyes are good, I had eye surgery or cataract surgery in both eyes already at 46 years old. But
now your eyes are
But
dialed.
at night, I love nighttime. So we railed pretty good.
Nice, dude.
I think we were an hour ahead of when we thought we were going to get out of the car.
No shit, really?
Yeah, we thought we were going to average a certain miles per hour, and we were an hour earlier.
Dude, why you guys got a low ball, man?
I don't know. We just had a good night, So.
Hey, so Jeff Angel just commented in saying, "Yep, taking a ride in a turbo car totally ruined him too."
Dude, I was like, man. But Oscar Jackson, actually, we talk every week almost, and he was like, "I need to get you a turbo," and I'm like, "Nah, I don't want one."
Yeah,
I don't want to put one in.
Keep it reliable. Well, dude, you guys still killed it last year. I mean, like going through and placing so well in the Baja 1000, you got to be proud of that. And then, like, I guess that does give you an understanding of whether does it need to be like forced induction, or can it be normally? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I think a race like the 1,000, we're fine. Like, I think the NA car does fine because it's such a long race. I think in a shorter race, dude, we're not going to do as well as a turbo car.
That Parker race, I could totally see.
Yeah.
Like a turbo would have super helped in that race.
But I mean, I want to say the fast lap was like a 106 or something. I didn't see the whole result from Parker, but like I did a 120 lap, and my Talons, our Talons are pretty stock. I mean, even though we got arms and stuff, they're still stock geometry, stock width. So I had stock shocks. I did a 120 lap there. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, and it's not like you haven't driven a fast-ass car before. I mean, like you understand the difference in the speeds and stuff like that. So it's pretty promising for you to say that the Talons can keep up that pace.
Yeah.
First of all, I think that you guys had a phenomenal race last year. I wish we could have talked earlier, like in November or something, right?
Yeah, that would have been cool.
But it unfortunately didn't work out, but it's still phenomenal for me to see. And full transparency, you even told me at the shop, you're like, dude, these things are built good.
They're pretty good. I mean, I've worked on some of the other brands, and there's good and bad. You know,
every vehicle has that. Ford, Chevy, doesn't matter what you're talking about.
There's good and bad. I think more good than bad with the Honda, but you know, our BAJA car that we rated, Francisco's car is it's stocker than you think. Like,
but you were telling me that thing's a fucking tank, dude. Like, you gotta lighten that thing up, dude.
There's no way to lighten it up.
I don't know, man.
It's pretty heavy.
Let's talk to the engineer.
I think Jeff's cars are heavier than our cars.
A lot.
I don't
a lot heavier.
I don't know what these desert cars have to get lighter, dude. Somehow, because
trust me, and I don't build when I tab a car, I really think about it. Like you see one of my Class 10s,
the cars that you build are badass.
I mean, I got guys like John Cooley telling me that, you know, I don't know why you don't sell more cars, you know, this and that, but it's like
Mikey just chimed in saying, well, he said 63 miles per hour all day.
So Mike Senior, he rode with me. So Mikey's dad rode with me at 1,000, and dude, it was. I mean, we could have had coffee. Like, it was
like a sandwich.
Dude, so funny, right? We were on this long stretch, like it was kind of uphill, and he's like, "Is that it?" And I'm like, "That's it." You know?
He's like, "If my foot doesn't smash through the floor."
He's been racing a long time. You know, he was a part of the Miko family, and they, you know, Morley's always built cars, and Mike's raced a ton. You know,
I still like. It doesn't matter. Like the situation of these side by sides, it's always evolving, always. And so it's cool to see. First of all, any Japanese manufacturer come in, it's awesome to see. And so for the Hondas to have such a good showing in these races is phenomenal, dude. Like I mean, you guys can wheel. Like, don't get me wrong, but like a vehicle by itself doesn't win the race, right?
Yeah.
Like, so for you to say that the car is good the way it is, and for me to be able to see in your shop, and I think you've posted on your social media as well, your naked car.
Yeah.
And for me to see those things do so well is just, it still blows my freaking mind. I mean, like,
I mean, everything, you know, other than the differentials kind of worried me at first because the Hondas are pretty small. So, you know, I had Weddell Industries go through those for me and make sure they're good. And other than that, I mean, the drivetrain was, I mean, like I said, those cars were brand new.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably only had 100 miles on them total when we started that race.
Just barely breaking them in.
Yeah, we still had the braking oil in them. No, it's like, but you know, it was impressive. You know, like I said, Honda's always been known for reliability. And
how did both of you guys feel? Let's let Jamie answer this one. How did you feel after you got out of the car at the finish line? I mean, knowing that you won is obviously cool, but being a fabricator, building the car, understanding what like your whole racing prowess has given you, like you got to get out and go, shit, that was pretty fucking cool. Like,
I didn't get I was tired when I got out of the car. I'm not in shape, and I was tired. And Cisco got back in, you know, to go do the rest. And when it didn't really hit me till we got to the highway at 77, and I'm like, hey, we're winning this thing, you know. And I was like, dude, this is rad. You know, I was like, this is gonna be rad. But I was still so nervous. You know, because we still had, you know, whatever 100 miles to go, and I'm like, oh, and then we go
so nervous at 63 miles per hour,
and then we go down to Ojos, and we're waiting at Ojos, and here comes, you know, I forget who, you know, one of the monster car. Well, obviously Wes went by, and then one other car, and then another car, or whatever. But then, you know, like Mark Burnett's guys were parked over across the way, and they're just like, dude, you know, thumbs up, and you guys are killing it, and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I was a nervous wreck though at Ojos.
Really?
You know, and then when the Cisco goes by, and I'm just like, okay, and then I was still a nervous wreck going into town. You know, till I knew he was at the finish line, I was good.
That's a racer in him, dude.
Yeah, I was just like, you know, we celebrated that night, which we shouldn't have, but we celebrated, and then we got the overall taken away, obviously, but. It's still bitching,
dude.
You know?
It's so cool, and I'm still like, we'll talk about Eliott too, but like, it's so cool for me to see side-by-sides used to barely be able to finish a desert race. And now they can do so well. I mean, they're placing in the top of the good cars.
Dude, I was battling with Class 10.
That's what I mean,
crazy,
dude.
right?
It's insane.
I think I was battling with Travis, I think.
you?
Yeah. I don't
so-
remember when he drove, but yeah, I mean, we're battling Class 10 cars.
That is so cool.
I couldn't believe it.
Even and like we talked about the speed and the turbos and all this stuff, right? And we're making fun, 63 miles per hour all day. But the fact is they're still getting it. Like you guys are still finishing really fast, and compared to some of those good cars.
Yeah. So I mean, they proved that KOH though. Class 10 was dominant there in their little thing, which one of my cars won KOH too. So
there you go, dude.
Wheeler Morgan won that. He won Parker too. So. He's on a roll, so I'm excited for that too because he's been working at that for a few years. He's had a couple wins here and there, and now the car's just way dialed now, and
we should get both ends of let's ask this question then. So you got to be pretty proud of yourself building cars for a long time, but building these cars that people are winning with, like I want to get into dirt bikes, but but building these cars that are winning now, and then having the opportunity to work with awesome talent like Mike Sandoval, and then obviously now with Eliott since he's sitting here, it's got to be pretty fulfilling.
Yeah, I mean obviously with him and Eliott Cook and Mikey Sandoval, I'm still just a growing. I want to try to grow this thing, and I want to help these guys. I think they have talent. I think they could, go big and win a bunch of races.
Does it give you a whole different level of success and happiness being able to do that with these guys?
Oh yeah, because I feel like a mentor almost now. I've had so many in my career, I guess, and through racing and fabricating that if I could, return that favor to, Eliott, some of these guys, then, I want to be that guy.
Yeah. Payback.
I've had a lot of guys, that I've taught how to fabricate and stuff too. They've moved on, everybody moves on, but, I like being that mentor a little bit too.
It's cool. It's totally different level of satisfaction and commitment, and even you got to feel good about it.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked. A lot of prayer, and just having your own business isn't always a piece of cake. So
oh, dude, yeah.
This thing's starting to grow, and it's it's stressful.
Yeah, and it's not like anybody's known what's going to happen the last couple of years either,
no,
right?
That's the other thing.
So you just gotta throw your whole heart into it.
Yeah,
but,
I've thrown my whole livelihood into the Honda Talon thing, and people. I get calls there. Why don't you do Polaris? Why don't you do Can-Am? And I wouldn't be able to. There's just
you need 100 more dudes.
It's we're limited on our shop space and guys, and it's. I think doing the one brand is actually probably better for me. So.
Yeah, well, not just you can focus on one thing, right? I mean,
I want to. Yeah.
Talking about business stuff. I mean, you can look at all kinds of different companies. We'll just use Apple because everybody has a freaking iPhone, right? They fail when they try to get too big. It doesn't matter, and they're massive, right? Yeah. So I wholeheartedly agree in business when you have laser focus that it will propel you past where you're going to be.
The UTV world, though, or industry, let's call it. I mean, they've embraced me because, I have KWT and even Fox because Fox, I've had a deal with Fox for a lot of years, right?
Yeah,
well, then when I called to start doing this UTV stuff, you gotta call the Power Sports, So I call these guys. They don't know what I've done and who I am and all stuff. So even before the 1,000, I ordered 3 or 4 sets of shocks from them, and they were skeptical and this and that. Well, then we go and win. And then Rick Strobel back there at Fox is texting me going, dude, this is so awesome. What do you need? They're willing to, help us now and do stuff. And
the side-by-side community and industry as a whole is really, really open to understanding and adapting to other new things that are coming up. So it's cool to see that. I really do wish we got you on earlier on the show. But, we're sitting here now talking about all this awesome stuff. And how do you feel about being able to drive these side-by-side? I mean, what do you call it? you guys said buggy dorks. I didn't say it right. But how do you feel about being able to drive? Like, and that's why I laid the platform or the foundation of understanding short course versus desert, right? Mm-hmm. You can go out there in a desert car at a young age in an awesome platform and win, dude. Like, he's kind of brushing it off. He's being humble about it, right? But, like, dude, I saw the smile on your face, and I know you a little bit, dude. It looked like it was so cool.
Yeah, no, and a lot of that was our last race of the year last year, and it just topped off what a crazy year our whole racing program had versus short course and desert, and kind of solidified that we were able to win at both short course and desert. And it's kind of
no, dude, it's crazy, right?
Yeah. So one of the huge assets to our program, I think, is we can go out and try and compete in all different aspects and different environments of racing. And but for me, it's like that also was a lot of long nights, long weeks of frustration. Getting those cars all figured out and everything. And it wasn't pretty at the beginning. We went out to the Mint 400 last year, and we had some issues in a couple other races. And at the 500, we were the first race I finished in one of the the Honda Desert cars, and ended up on the podium in second. And 4,000, we just pre-ran as hard as we could. I ran my section 4 times. I ran like 1,300 miles just of a 400 mile section.
Putting in the work, right?
Exactly. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you got to work hard to make it happen.
Exactly, and especially when you're racing against other guys like the Matlocks and the Jamie, the RaceCo car, and the factory Can-Am guys. It's hard when you're this many guys that are factory guys that all want to win for that same spot. It's like you got to make sure you're on top of your game. And
dude,
a lot of it was like getting through the first 300 miles clean. We were at the first 300 miles when I got out, we were leading it overall for UTV, and it was like getting out there was like the first okay, like this thing's it's on now. We're trying to go and win ourselves a race here. Then out through the night, I got the car to Steven Eugenio. He did awesome. He's a Baja legend. He's won trophy truck championships. And
great driver.
Yeah, so awesome. He was able to come and be a part of our team. And with the turbo thing, it was it's like what he said, the NA car might be a little bit fast and longevity. We had still some issues we were working out. We had some issues there, but after that, Bud Award got the car and brought it back to me, and we were leading for our class. And the last 100 miles, it was like kind of weird to see all this time and effort, and you ran for 1,000 miles and try not to throw it away. And all this work and time, and going to the finish line, it's a pretty technical section. You're just like, don't throw it away. But I had Roy riding with us. He's been part of our program for 10 plus years, and he was riding with me. It was his first time ever riding with me in a race, and the whole time he's like, woo, like, let's go. He's all excited, calling out mile markers and all, and it kind of
super go-go enthusiasm.
Exactly. He kept going on the radio. Hey, Tommy, like my dad. Hey, Tommy, race mile 890, getting close.
Nice.
It was just like a dream feeling when you get back onto the pavement in the speed zone going to the finish line, and thinking about how how much work and long nights and everything getting to that point was. And after we crossed the finish line, just thinking for one, we finished the race, and for two, to win in our class, it's just nuts.
And like appreciation, just like emotional, like a whole deal, right?
Exactly.
Like that's so cool, dude. Like I love hearing the story like that, because I can just feel like it's giving me goosebumps just thinking about it.
I'm getting all jittery over here. Do you want to do it again? Right?
So cool.
I had a second car down there with Paul Barnhart too, and they had their issues during the day and stuff, but they ended up making it to the finish line. I think they timed out by maybe in 50 minutes or something, but
got to the finish line?
They finished. They got to the finish line. They gave them the checkered flag, but they timed out.
Yeah.
But what I thought was cool about those guys is they actually helped a Class 11. So 2 young Mexican guys racing a Class 11. No blankets, no food. They were broken down on that summit section going back over to the Highway 3. And those guys towed those guys up over that summit.
I didn't know that. That's
so
cool.
And then they helped another car. I think there was a car tipped over or something on its side, and they pulled that guy over and helped him get going again.
Really?
So yeah, those guys. I mean, they would have got
a score. Give time back like Dakar does.
They
or no?
They didn't give them their time back, which I kind of thought was kind of a bummer. But
does score do that? Is that like something that they do or no?
Dude, I don't know if they. I don't think so.
When I heard that like the big rally series like Dakar does that, I was like, that's not like just a game changer. That should just be a flat out rule in everything.
So those guys broke down on Laguna Salada, and they thought they were done, and we finished the race.
Right.
And they were broken down on Laguna Salada, and one of the team guys called me on my cell phone. I was in the San Nicolas parking lot having a beer, and they're like, hey, we broke this, and we didn't, we had a bunch of spare parts, but they were just in the wrong area, so they we actually said, well, what do you need? And we took the parts off our car, and Cisco's guys drove that parts all the way out to Laguna Salada and put them on that car and got that car to the finish line.
That is so rad, man.
So we took the car apart on the trailer and put the part, so winning car on the trailer, took it apart in the San Nicolas parking lot. They hauled ass to Laguna Salada, fixed the car. The car still finished. I mean, obviously they timed out, but in my eyes, they finished the race.
That's badass.
So
man.
that was a pretty cool deal too, you know.
Dude.
So both cars finished in my eyes, you know. So
that is awesome. I mean, it goes back to like the things that we talked about at the beginning of the show, the dirt life, right? Like it's all camaraderie based, right?
Yeah.
You can be a racer all day. All of us want to go out there and win, myself included.
Yeah.
You put your helmet on, it changes you. But at the end of the day, you always going to help your fellow racer. That's so cool that you guys did that, man. Part of your team or not, you would have done it for Eliott if he was broken. Like it's awesome to see that and hear that story, dude. What kind of stuff do you guys have planned for this year, man?
I don't know. We're kind of winging it.
Kind of winging it, honestly.
I mean, this is all kind of new, you know, so.
Right. I mean, like, you come out the gate swinging, you still want to go out there and kick ass, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's planning on doing Silver State.
Yeah, I'm racing the spec truck with the Badlands team a few more
yeah.
times this year. Then I might be doing a couple other things in trucks, but you know, I think our plan just for UTV and with the truck just go try and win everything we can, and even if it's a District 38 race.
Yeah,
you know.
there's no set like schedule. I mean, we've talked about, you know, the two of us doing Vegas to Reno, even though he's racing the truck, but we were trying to figure out logistics, how he could, you know, get, if we take one Talon and then do
if he
Vegas
could
Reno.
do it both, I saw a couple of guys do that. I still have yet to see it done successfully, right? Like,
I mean, I've done it. We've done it on bikes, and then, certain people have done it, but like, I
Toby
think
Price tried to do that a couple times out there in Australia and stuff too. Like, it's so difficult though, man. Like,
but you know, it was like one of those deals. Let's say he starts in the truck, I start in the Talon, he gets out. Even if he doesn't make it, or like, let's say he's whatever's happening, and I go by, like I could race the whole race. If I
you just have to change your logistical stuff. But man,
we're trying to do it kind of together.
You know what's crazy though is like going back on the question that I asked. Like, there's so many people, teams, high level teams. It doesn't matter who you are. The series is obviously, I mean, Best in the Desert has thrown a wrench in the mix now. Like, there's so many different things that have happened the last couple of years that can just seriously just throw a wrench in the mix for any program.
I think that the cars we built for the 1,000, those cars are going to go to the BAJA 500. I was hoping San Felipe with Francisco's car, but he has other stuff going on, so
I don't necessarily think that it's a bad idea that some of this stuff is getting scattered, or excuse me, a bad thing that some of this stuff is getting scattered, because it really throws everybody. It throws so many wrenches in the mix that everybody has to think different, right? And I was already a big proponent in 2017. I love that Lee is bringing back the series, but me personally, I'm never going to race a series again in my life because I was hurt. But I was still thinking that way as far as a marketing tool goes, because there's so much value in being at these bigger events.
I think hit the ones that make the most sense type
exactly.
deal.
And I've heard so many people talking to me about this. For the kids and the things like Lee is doing, I think that those are real, like, foundational things that they need to go out there and do that. They need to race a series. They need to understand that they have to get through these bigger event or bigger things to make it in a racing world, right? But when you have a good team and good racers like you, I really think there's a lot of value in being able to go out there and pick those big events. So I don't necessarily think it's bad that you guys, I mean, you're saying you're shooting from the hip because you're a racer at heart.
The only reason is because, like, you know, we don't have any money behind us, you know, so we're just, you know, these companies are coming in, they want to help Eliott and I. So, you know, Yokohama's one, you know, VP, you know, some of these guys are coming on going, hey, we want to help you guys. But even for us, you know, it's kind of a financial deal, you know, somewhat. So, you know, we're trying to hit, you know, when middle of the year comes, we're going to start sending out proposals and try to get some money together to really do a real program.
That's awesome. I think that's so cool, man.
So
and I really do think
we're setting the ground for it right now. You know, with like Yokohama.
Yeah.
You know, everybody that's helping us that, you know, they just want us to go win races. So
yeah.
But
we already showed them you can.
we could win races.
Yeah. I think it'd be really cool, like what you said, trying to go to the big races and make that more of a highlight. I think it'd be
hit
really
the profile races.
Yeah.
You know,
we could try and go back to back at the 1000 this year. I think it'd be pretty incredible to do that. So whether it be in UTV or what, so.
Just like Lee said, though, I mean, like he's building his series to be a feeder series, right? Like he's doing these things that are great for so many different people. It's awesome to see. And then when you have the racers that are championship winning people like you guys, like there might be a different focus, right?
Yeah.
And it's super cool to see that you guys are still going to go out there and do it, try to win these big races. Man, it really does. It really gets me excited to be able to understand that you guys are putting in the work.
I just need to figure out how to build us a car.
Right.
A real car.
Then game on.
A real car.
So,
and then we'll go do some damage. But
well,
you know,
I know that you guys have.
We need to keep feeding Honda our media and stuff. So
yeah, I know that you guys are doing a good job, man, and it's so cool for me to see. I'm gonna Quentin Tarantino it right now though, and just like fall back on what we talked about, dude. Reverse the conversation. I grew up being a moto guy like all my life, man. Like that was my dream to always have a championship and win a supercross or a motocross race. And I always saw dudes like we talked about, like your brother, you know, all of these guys going out and doing all this stuff. You had so many good times being able to build bikes and ride bikes. Like maybe
there was a lot of so when I started riding for Team Honda, like on the off-road Honda team for American Honda, you know, we came off. So I'll go back even further. So we were riding privateer in Baja on a CR250. It was just always totally clapped out, but we were always in the hunt. Team Green was always there. You know, so about 90, I think it was 92, San Felipe 250, the factory Honda bike broke during the race, and we were the next Honda in the race, and we were top 5, let's say, halfway through the race. So, you know, back then, Honda would only pit 4 strokes. They had a pit program, but it was only 4 strokes only. Well, we're on a CR 250 2-stroke.
Yeah.
But one of the coolest things was I was at a pit parked next to a Honda pit, and Bruce Ogilvie gets on the radio and says, "Hey, all Honda pits, stay where you're at. Help these guys, you know, because we're to lead Honda in the race."
Right.
So I was just like got chills, you know, going, dude, they're gonna stay and help us if we need it, you know. And I was just a dumb kid, you know. I was 16.
Hey, I don't want to interrupt you, but do you even know what a 2-stroke is, Eliott? Like seriously, right?
So
like,
funny, huh?
I don't even know what a 2-stroke is anymore.
I know, dude. It's so different, but like to hear this story is like all of our audience. Like we just had my co-host Casey Peck comment in, and he's a big 2-stroke guy too, and he's getting back into the moto stuff. It's so cool to see.
Yeah, so we ended up winning our the 250 pro class that day. We got third overall.
So the Honda guys jumped on board.
Well, Bruce was there at the finish line, and he took our bike aside, and he's looking at. I mean, the thing's just tattered. I mean, we didn't have any money. We used to camp. Like when we pre-ran, we'd camp. Like I've slept at Ojos on the corner of the highway right there.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've slept there, dude? I mean, dude, it's crazy. So we were just these fast Grand Prix racer kids that came down to Baja.
A haggard 2-stroke.
But we win, and you know, I was young, so. But anyways, that same year, you know, Johnny and Dave Donatoni, our other partner, got hired to race the 500.
Yeah.
I was too young to fit in their insurance or whatever. But fast forward, you know, to a couple years later, and I started riding for the team on a B rider or whatever. But so then that about 97. I was hurt actually coming off an injury, so I was riding a lot, but I wasn't racing. And Johnny got hurt right before San Felipe, and he called me. He goes, "Dude, you got to ride." And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. He's like, no, you just need to go ride.
Yeah, just do it.
So I go, okay, loaded up my van, headed to San Felipe for a week, pre-ran, and I rode with Tim Staub back then. So we were the B team, I told Tim, and I go, hey, we got to win, because the A team guys, we could beat them, And I think that was Jeff Capp and Greg Bringle or something, and they were riding. And
dude, that's
Johnny's
the racer mentality.
Johnny's
right?
telling me you need to beat these guys, So I'm like, okay. So we pre-ran so much. Tim and I pre-ran sun up to sundown. We're burning lines. Back then you make lines. You do. We're burning our sections in, and so we ended up winning that race. And that was big.
That's so cool.
So.
Man.
To win a score race, at what was I, 18 or something, or whatever. I might have been a little older than that, but it was, it's a big. So with that, I became one. I got this nickname one time from Cameron Steele. Cameron Steele, Nick to Johnny's 11 time. I'm
Does
one
he
time.
still fuck with you? And call
oh yeah,
you
they all
that?
do. Now I'm like 3 time because I won. So I won that race. Then I won the 1,000 with Heidi. In her 7 truck one year, and then I won this year or last year,
right?
1,000. So now I'm 3 time, I guess.
You go back and talk to shit to them.
Oh yeah,
you'd be like, oh yeah, hey, so did you guys win in 2019 or 2020? Like,
yeah, but
that's fun.
But that was, then not too long after that, I kind of quit because I got hurt again, and it was just like I had a full-time job.
Yeah.
It wasn't back then. There wasn't like athletes weren't getting paid to go. I mean, Johnny, we'd work. I would leave pinhalls.
People were barely making any money in
this
Supercross,
crazy.
let alone
Johnny
desert
was
racing.
Johnny was getting paid as a contractor from Honda, but he's only making $60,000 or something.
Right.
And then so I was working at pinhalls. I'd work all day at Jerry's. I'd drive to Torrance, build race bikes because Johnny and I built all the race bikes.
Yeah.
Or Bruce would help. So I would drive there. We worked till 1, 2 in the morning. Drive home. I'd go work again. Go back up there the next night. So we were building Johnny was building the A team bike. I was building the B team bike.
That's
So it wasn't like, hey, we didn't have like a mechanic. We were the guys building the race bikes.
Yeah, you guys were the ones doing it.
So what was cool was I built the bike. I built the motorcycle that I won the San Felipe race on.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat.
Man,
So.
like I know that no matter what the dirt life could ever be as a show, we would never be able to, like, this is the same thing when I was sitting down talking with Rob McCachran. Eliott, you got to agree with me. Like, we could never fit the amount of stories in 10 shows probably,
crazy,
right? Like, how could we ever,
We haven't got to the XR100 at the BA 500 yet.
I'm telling you, man, it's crazy, right? Like,
Hey, I got a 3-hour drive home, dude.
It's so cool to hear these stories. So no matter what, we got to get like you back on the show again to be able to talk about a lot of these stories. But like, it is so cool to be able to understand that. I mean, like this show has to be about you and the Talon and Eliott and stuff like that. But it's phenomenal for me to be able to understand the amount of dirt life you have lived. And even this young kid sitting over here, I mean, he's starting, like right now, he's really like he's getting to be able to start his career, right? But he's already been through a whole bunch. So that's what it's all about, though. Like, that's what it's all about, man.
There's so much stuff I've already forgot, though. Like,
I know.
I forget stuff.
Dude, just listening to you and Lee talk, I mean, it took, 10 minutes, 20 minutes that we got to talk, and those are crazy stories. And now you're bringing up all these other stories about – there is so many people in our audience, dude, that I don't think you understand would love to just talk 2 strokes all day. Like, it's crazy. And you've lived through it, won races through it. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's so many stories though, so it's like it's hard, like things get sparked in your brain, right? People talk and then you're like, oh yeah, I remember this one time.
And it's not like none of us have hit our head before, right?
It's funny because you brought up Rob, and I was helping Rob quite a bit over the last 5 years, off and on, going to races and stuff, and that guy has some of the raddest stories, dude, from back in the day, just racing and hanging out with Walker Evans and all this. It's just like I could sit there all day and listen to that guy talk stories.
Just the amount of comments that we got, like the following week after his show, about like I forgot what it was now. I'm going to look like an asshole because it was about like the pro buggy rules changing when he couldn't drive it and stuff.
Yeah, because he was a professional driver.
Right, and then it had to be turned into a pro buggy and like
that was back in like when Core Core owned it.
And to
Jim
hear,
Baldwin.
and I don't want to go off on and change the subject and make it about Rob or anything, but to hear you talking about like the two strokes and Honda and the way that the dirt bikes evolved and you and your brother building those bikes, I mean, like it's got to get you pumped up too, Eliott, right?
Oh, yeah,
like,
for sure.
How cool is it to hear this stuff, man?
It's like you're listening to the dream, like, dang, I didn't know you did that. Or like, there's a lot of things that he's done. It's just kind of not
a lot of that stuff.
But dude, like, I mean, like, I'm an old dude too, right? And he's young, but like, to me, like, you're a living legend, dude. I mean, when I hear those stories, like, it's, dude, you're too humble, but it's so cool.
Yeah, they're like, I just like the stories of I like when we were like before we raced for even the team, and we'd go down there and spend, 3 days pre-running together, my brother and Dave and stuff, and just camping in the middle of nowhere. And so Sandoval, we did a pre-run with him. I did a pre-run with Mike one time, and it was me and his brother-in-law and a friend of theirs, and we left Tecate, right? We drove across, and there was a KOA camp there in Tecate, just outside of town on the old highway, and we parked all of our stuff there, and we were pre-running for the 500, I think, or something. So but we were like, hey, let's just make a cool thing of it. We'll ride Compadre Trail over to Ojo, start pre-running and all stuff. So like we left, we parked in Tecate, rode the Compadre Trail. Blaze, he had his buggy, and then Mike and I were on bikes, and we pre-ran the whole, like 3 days, let's say 4 days or whatever. But we didn't have a plan like where we're gonna stay. Mm-hmm. We just, Blaze had, sleeping bags on his car and all that stuff. So I think we stayed. I'm pretty sure. Well, we didn't stay at Mike's because when we got to Trinidad, this is funny. So we get to Trinidad and they wanted to go do this other little section. So I go, hey, I'm gonna go get tacos, and when you guys get back, I'll have dinner for us, whatever. So I rode over there, got tacos, and McMillan's rolled in, and we were talking, and he's like, oh, well, we're staying, because they're like, well, where are you guys staying? I'm like, we don't have a place to stay. They're like, oh, well, we're staying in Scaroni's compound over here.
Seriously?
Yeah. Nice. So Matt, I don't even know if they were there, but McMillan's were all there. So those guys came back from their little pre-run. We go over there and we go in the gate, and we kind of had our own little huddle going on one of their trailers or whatever. And Scott McMillan walks over and he's like, hey, you guys need a shower? Da-da. We're like, nah, we're good, and well, where are you guys going to sleep? And we're like, we're going to sleep right here on the trailer. He's like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, well, where's your chase crew? We're like, we don't have a chase. We parked in Tecate this morning.
Yeah.
He's like, what? That was Andy, I think that was the year Andy won in the Class 1 car.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
I think, because he was young. And Scott just couldn't believe it. We were pre-running, no chase truck. He's like, what are you doing? We slept on his flatbed trailer, got up in the next morning, went pre-running again.
Does any of the, like, to me, when he's talking about these stories, like, first of all, it's hardcore. Second of all, it's badass.
Oh, yeah.
But it makes me feel like I'm not even, like, I'm the host of a show called The Dirt Life. But he's, like, the Dirt Life right here. Like, that is it's the epitome of the Dirt Life, right? Like, but, dude, I mean, we could go on for so long just talking about badass stories like that. And, I mean, it just brings up all kinds of stuff that I remember, like, from my dirt life. And I'm sure, like, those little stories, like, make you want to go get a two-stroke. Like, bring up stories like, hey, did you ever...
I barely ride a dirt bike anymore. I think I've ridden once in the last year.
Dude, it really makes me feel like a pussy because I want to go out and ride dirt bikes again,
I'm 15 minutes
too,
from
right?
Paula.
I know, dude.
And I don't even go,
But,
I need to go.
It makes me think about, like, I totally forgot. Like, last week I was working on so hard on all this stuff for the show. I want to ride a dirt bike across the country. Like, I have all the Trans-America Trail maps. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, I want to get back into doing all this stuff, man, and living the dirt life.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, we got to get you on the show just to talk about stories, dude. Like, it'd be so rad.
You need to get a whole panel of guys. And
I know, right? Like, have Rob come.
Yeah.
Like, Rob's actually going to try to
Rob
come on the
rides dirt bikes even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to try to come back on the show in May. It's going to be awesome, man. But, Did you ever ride a PW50, Eliott?
I did not.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I did not.
You didn't either?
Dude, Z50,
Oh,
my first bike.
Z50.
And then I went to an XR75.
Yep.
Yep.
So
no Yamahas for me.
I had a CR60. Dude, red is in your blood.
I strayed for a couple years, though.
Did you?
I rode a Husky one year. Won a lot of races on that bike, though. Won a championship in Best in the Desert before. Best in the Desert was motorcycles only back then, and I won a 125 Pro Championship on my Husky. Beat all the Cowie guys.
Dude, it's already getting close to 2 hours, and we still got quite a bit of stuff to talk about. But let's start winding down the show a little bit. First thing I want to do is I want to thank both of you guys for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Dude, it's awesome. I mean, Eliott and I have been trying to line this one up for God knows how. Dude, almost some of the first shows probably, huh?
So crazy, yeah. I got to be on one with you last year after the 1,000, but it's kind of short and sweet from home and dealing with bad internet service and all. So now being here in the studio with you is awesome.
Dude, your voice sounds crispy clear.
It's a little different than it was last time, right?
But yeah, so it is really cool to see all the things that you guys are doing. I know that I already asked like what kind of stuff you guys had and going on for 2021, and it kind of got turned into all these different stories. But it's just awesome to see that you guys are teaming up. Dude, this car is like, it's so stock, right? But it looks badass.
Yeah,
like,
they're racy.
But I mean, dude, they're sleepers, right? Like
bit.
The one that you built, like that I saw at your shop, like, I mean, it's got all kinds of cool stuff. You've done all kinds of cool things to it with your hands. I mean, like, did you see the last shot in the intro?
I don't know if
Did
I
you
saw
get to
it.
see it,
No,
or
I
were we
didn't see
too
it.
busy? Did you see it?
I caught a
Eliott?
glimpse of it.
So you're gonna have to check it out. It's like when I saw it on your Instagram.
Oh, not the metal.
Dude.
So funny.
I was like, how
So
sick
that
is that?
was so Boyd Janes took that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was actually in Dirt Sports magazine. So that was
This is the first time I saw it.
So Dirt Sports used to do the driver profile or whatever.
Yeah.
In the back, and I think my wife set that up or something. But I worked at Pinhalls and
Was that around the same time or something?
Yeah.
that
When
was
was
a cool
that?
shot,
Shoot, that was 2004, I think, or 7 maybe.
Dude.
But I was building a lot of cars at Jerry's, and they, like, Boyd's a buddy. Like, Boyd, so, you know Boyd Janes? Photographer?
Yeah.
So Boyd, we grew up with Boyd.
I've
He
never
was
shook his
older.
hand.
Boyd was older than my brother and I, but we used to skate when we were kids, and we always skated and stuff, and so he wanted to do that shoot, and Dirt Sports like, yeah, let's do it, and all that. And so I'm like, dude, I don't want to be in like a nice, like, I was racing a lot then, but I was like, I don't want to be like in a nice driving suit and stuff. Let's just do something all raw, and I'll get an old crappy apron and torch and whatever. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So Jerry was cool. He's like, yeah, whatever you need to do in the shop or whatever. So we did it there, and
it's pretty
was
cool, man. So I just got to say, man, like, first of all, Eliott, I've always been a big fan of yours because I mean, like, you even started racing short course before I did. So I feel like I'm the young gun over here, right? But, like, I've always been a big fan. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the things you're doing, like understanding your story a little bit more. And, yeah, we should just do a whole show on you one of these days, too, and, like, have to really get into it. But I want to wait a little bit before we do that because I want you to graduate.
There you go.
And I want you to have a little bit more of this, like, Honda Talon racing under your belt. Like,
a couple more years of it and some more
yeah,
stories
and I want
to tell.
to, yeah, but it's got to feel good to be able to, like, be around dudes like Jamie, right? Like, and understand, like, all their racing prowess. Or does it just feel like, because you've been around your dad a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So
Is it kind of like normal for you or what?
no, it's crazy because I've been around this my whole life, and I grew up in a group of kids that were always doing this. Like, like I said, Brock Hager, Brock Dickerson, those guys growing up, like, went to preschool together, middle school, and it's been kind of like our, so I've been swarmed around my whole life, but now it's kind of taking a step back and being guys like Jamie, then being guys like Jeff last year, and learning from these guys that have been making a living at the sport for so long. It's like cool being able to apply what they learn and what they teach me to try and move forward with that and see how we can make something bigger and better here in the next couple of years.
It's really cool. And we had a comment come in from John, and he said, yeah, because he works with NASCAR guys and stuff, but he does say, like, money does make the world go around and make you go fast, but to be honest, dude, like off-road's a little different, right? Like you can be the guy that's
you could be grassroots, you know.
That's bringing all this.
I've
Dude,
always been grassroots.
That's what I'm saying. I was just gonna try to say it like you can be a dude that's sleeping in San Felipe in a sleeping bag, right?
RaceCo started as grassroots.
That's what I mean.
Even back when David Chrysler owned it, you know, it's like, dude, I started RaceCo with very little money.
So you're right, John. I mean, like money does make the world go round, right? But it's cool to see, man. Like. You're helping other racers now. Like, you're building these Hondas that are badass. I mean, when I went to your shop on, what was it, Wednesday or something? Like, it was pretty cool to see because you could almost not even get any work done. I mean, like, we had lunch together, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was supposed to go, but how do you even get any work done when everybody's knocking on your door? You had so many people coming in. Like, it's cool to see because you got to feel proud and humble that so many people want you to help them with their stuff. Like, it's pretty badass,
It gives
right?
me anxiety, though.
But you got to be proud of it.
Yeah,
At the end of the
it's
day,
good to
right?
be busy.
Like,
It's good to be busy. That's for sure. Like, it is a juggle act, though, for me.
And it's cool that you get to help other badasses like this kid, right?
He's helping me, though. You know, he does a lot of media and stuff himself, so I could piggyback off him, what he's doing, and we, you know, it's
kind of
good for
funny
me.
because we did talk about it before the show. Like, I mean, dude, if I didn't understand it like a little bit, like I don't know what the fuck social media would be, right? Like, and you're like, what?
Yeah. But I mean, you know, it's like he's helping me, I'm trying to help him, and I think we could go bigger. Just
I mean,
need to keep pushing forward.
You compliment each other, right? But I mean, you do have a bunch of other people that help you out and stuff too.
A ton of people.
All right, so before we get into this rapid fire Q&A, you've probably heard the rapid fire before, or did we ask you last time?
What is that?
No, last time you did, when we were in Chandler, you did the questions of like a first grader or something like that.
Yeah.
That made me feel dumb, dude. So he picked me and Darren Harsty out of all people. He was like, hey, listen, we're going to film this for an episode. I'm like, okay, cool. Then he starts asking us these questions. I'm like, I kind of had an idea of the answer. Then I'm looking over at Darren, and we're just looking at each other like what? Then he goes over to Jarrett Brooks and Brock Hager, and everybody's just like, what? Like,
the funniest part about it, dude, I had no idea what the answers
were.
So
funny, huh?
But it was like, are you smarter than a third grader?
Yeah. That show on TV.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
But it makes you feel dumb, right?
I would be an idiot.
Anyways, but before we get into the rapid fire, it's pretty clear that you're somebody that he's going to want to thank, but who does really help you out, man? And I don't mean just, dude, I got to go through the list of my sponsors, but like you have so many people.
There's
that help
a ton.
I
mean, just with well, obviously my wife is a huge.
Clearly,
she stopped working actually, like I don't know, maybe over a year ago, and she does a ton for me, and then.
To help keep RaceCo going.
Yeah, I mean, there's everybody that I do business with. Cody Wagner from Laser Nut, he's a huge, factor in a lot of my stuff. And Brandon Wells from Latest Concepts does a lot of that stuff for me too. And I think I said at the beginning when Chuck Cheek wrote in, like Chuck makes a lot of my machine parts as well as Corey does too. These guys are really helping me. Those guys really are helping me get the Talon stuff going because they're pushing me to do it for one, but they're also following through and getting me product. And it's not like, hey, you got to pay me now. They're like, hey, we just make it consistent and doing that. So they're just helping.
But they're
me
good resources.
They're a huge resources. Just. I don't know. Obviously the guys that are working for me at my shop are, they're dedicated guys, and Mikey and Ryan are learning. And
were they all part of your Baja 1000?
They didn't go. They didn't go down there. Mikey's dad obviously did because he rode with me, but they were working while I was having fun.
Hey, dude, the riggers are running your own business.
Rhett Cyril is my main guy at the shop. he's one of those guys who's been around forever doing stuff. He worked at, Baldwin's, and he worked for Carl Renezetter. And I mean, he's just this real quiet, humble dude. But I couldn't do it without him, So he's a huge factor. Not only is a kick-ass fabricator, but he's a bitchin' machinist and, stuff. So
and you kind of are still like, I mean, I know you want to grow your racing program, but you are starting to align yourself with, just different companies and stuff that are helping you out. Oh, you KWT.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, the amount of love we're getting from these companies is crazy. I mean, like every week I feel like I get somebody that's calling me wanting to do something with me or help us or, but I just got to keep building it, and I need to streamline it a little better.
Yeah.
But,
I mean,
it's always, I do all this stuff. I mean, obviously these people help me, but like I do my own social media. I answer the phone. I do the emails. I do the quotes. I still try to get work done in the shop. I was full of CV grease today. I was, it's just, I'm still trying to produce, for the shop too. But
so we were talking about Eliott being able to multitask school and racing and all these other different things, but you're kind of doing the same thing, right? And shoot, man. What about you, Eliott? Like who? I mean, I've seen you on the podium so many times, right? But who are some of the people that have helped you out in the past couple of years? I mean, like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I've been blessed with some super awesome opportunities, and a lot of that comes back to my family. They've been a huge supporter of off-road racing and trying to make this all work out for me. And it was fun just being able to last year be able to go and slow it down with them at some of the short course races and go out and have fun again with it. And it's all possible because of them. They're pushing us through this and making it all have fun with it and everything like that. But everybody, all the companies on the side of these cards, like everybody is a huge relationship to us, and you really we're really thankful for everybody for the support. And
it is pretty cool to see how many people like to just get along with and understand how much work that you put in the program that they're stoked to be a part of it too, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it's crazy. There's a lot of little things behind the scenes, just from sending out emails to someone, just trying to get a little support here and there, and versus going and posting on Instagram day to day and getting videos and everything. And thankfully, I've been pretty close to working with Art Eugenio, and he's really helped me to try and build more of a media platform to help push our partners and trying to get pictures, videos, and all that sort of thing out on a regular basis.
Like none of us can ever understand or thank as many people have been. I mean, there's so many people in my life, your guys' lives. I mean, like, how could you even do it, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, first of all, thank you guys. Like,
thanks for having us on, though.
You guys have done a great job in all the things that you guys are doing, and I'm stoked just to see the side-by-side industry go and get bigger, man. All right. You guys ready for this rapid-fire Q&A?
Uh-oh. How are you going about this?
Let's let the young kid answer first.
You put me on the spot first?
All right. So I'll ask one question. You go first, and you go second. Dunes or the river?
Oh, Dunes.
River.
You going river?
Oh, yeah, dude.
I'm honestly
75 Miller jet boat.
Really?
Yeah, same age as me.
Dude. Oh, man. How fast does that thing go? Like
it's a 70 mile an hour.
Oh, 63 miles per hour all day.
Yeah.
Three-wheeler or quad?
Quad.
Oh, dude, I'd do a three-wheeler over a quad.
You're going death machine.
I'm about to say,
Jamie's going full death machine.
I've never even ridden a three-wheeler, so I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
I ran my leg over on a three-wheeler a couple times.
Three-wheelers look cool, though.
I was never a three-wheeler guy, though. Just bikes.
No?
Yeah.
What quad are you? What quad would you get?
So, a couple of years ago, we came across this old 2,400 Honda quad that we would just go and ride around, and it was that thing beat you up, but it was the funnest thing I've ever ridden in my life. It was so cool.
Dude, I saw a guy at the Parker race on I don't even know what kind of quad it was. The quad, four-wheel drive quad.
Oh yeah, it's like the Dakar looking things. They're huge.
And he did the whole thing.
That doesn't seem comfortable to me.
No.
Dude. You guys both know Supercross, right? Anderson or Osborne?
Anderson.
Yeah, I like Anderson.
Yeah.
You going Anderson?
For sure.
I like Anderson because he's he's more on the edge. But I mean, Osborne's talented though.
So the reason that I asked about, you guys know what kind of bike they ride, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Steve Westfall, their team manager, he's going to come talk a little bit of crap with us next week. So
right on.
I know Timmy Wiegand pretty well. He rode for my brother's team for a little bit.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just switch it up then. Since I asked Anderson or Osborne, Roxon or Webb?
Roxon.
Yeah, I'm a Roxon guy.
Yeah. I love me some Kenny Roxon too. I just like because he's such a badass. He's such a – but –
Webb's a bulldog, though.
He's got some serious racecraft, right?
Yeah. He's very serious. Like, he wants to win every time.
He really does.
I mean, I know all those guys do, but
like there's certain dudes like
and that's not because he's riding a Honda either.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I just
That's kind of crazy. I
like how he came back with his wrist injuries.
Exactly.
Like, people don't come back from that.
Exactly.
I got the opportunity to meet Ken a couple of times last year. He's like the most down-to-earth guy. It kind of makes you have a relationship watching them on TV, So it was fun to be able to experience
So it kind of gives
that.
a little bit more.
Exactly.
Dude, that's pretty badass, man. We could even talk more about Supercross, but hey, so I'm like kind of losing it because I'm like the host of the show. But if you would like to talk more about motorcycles and stuff, just follow with us next week. Little Smokies or Pizza Rolls?
Wait, what did you say first?
Little Smokies or Pizza Rolls?
What are those?
Well, I've never even heard of those.
Those little wieners?
Yeah. Have you seen them?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, they're
so
like-
scrumptious.
Yeah, they're
scrumptious.
They are. They're delicious.
I gotta go pizza rolls though.
You're going Pizza Rolls?
Yeah.
No, I'd do the little
Wieners.
Little Smokies?
Yeah, they got the bread.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
those
Dude,
things are-
they're really good. Coffee or tea?
Coffee. Oh,
Coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee. Both of you guys are going
Gotta
coffee?
have creamer though. I can't go
Exactly.
like all
I'm not
black.
that hardcore. My dad drinks it black, and I don't know how he does it.
I try.
So nuts. I don't get it.
Can't do it.
Here we go. Favorite soda?
So I would pick tea, like iced tea over soda, but if I gotta go favorite soda, I'd go Dr. Pepper.
You going Dr. Pepper? What about you?
Yeah, that's a toughie.
Dude.
A lot of
I
options.
mean,
huh?
I drink. I shouldn't drink it.
Yeah.
But dude, how about Cactus Cooler? That stuff was good.
Curveball.
Oh, dude, you have no idea how sick it is that you just answered that. All right, so we've had so many dudes. I mean, off-roading Dr. Pepper, right? But
I mean, we're desert guys. We're supposed to drink Cactus Cooler. I got a story for that too.
Do you?
Well, dude, remember Travel Land in Orange County, where they sold RVs?
Oh yeah,
on?
yeah.
So when I was a kid, we'd drive into Travel Land, look at all this. I mean, this was like a weekend thing. We go look at RVs and stuff because it's something to do. Well, there was one of the RV places had a Coke machine. They had Cactus Cooler. So I always got a Cactus Cooler because it was cool because it had cactus on it, like it was desert.
It was desert style.
Dude, I wish the Cactus could. That's so sick that you answered that. So many people, dude. Okay, I can't even.
Remember Jolt? That was the first energy drink.
Oh yeah. You don't.
He doesn't.
Sorry.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Flight.
Flying?
I don't think. I don't know.
What about you, Jamie? What are you going with?
I wish I could weld good again.
That's your superpower.
I don't know.
What about teleporting?
Oh, now you're talking.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be really cool.
So, because then you could just.
That'd be cool because then, like, I want to teleport though my whole rig and
I was about to say
everything to the
race
event.
car, everything. Don't have to deal with driving.
Yeah, I don't want to, and
you can't just do.
because I end up driving solo because my wife. I'm going to bed now, and Jen goes to bed, and I got to drive solo everywhere.
It would kind of make it. So, since I'm the new guy in Southern California, it would kind of just be cool to not have to drive. I mean.
Yeah.
So,
No,
okay.
that's a good one.
Uggs or Crocs?
Uggs for sure.
Both
Dude.
of those are horrible.
You don't like Uggs?
No.
They're so badass.
Do you think that I'm just gonna make like easy questions or what? Uggs or Crocs,
Uggs
Jamie?
for sure.
I would do Uggs more than
Uggs?
No way would I wear Crocs. No way.
My dad likes Crocs, bro.
I wouldn't wear them. Sorry.
Just kidding. Okay. Most memorable race.
I gotta go back to
Doesn't even have to be one that you got first.
Chandler 2019 when we were tied for the
Jolt 1985.
Yeah, I saw it.
Chandler 2019 was the last race in the Pro Buggy Championship, and Chris Nunes and I went tied into the weekend, and through the race we were racing like side by side pretty hard. And
Oh, really?
yeah, then we got into it a little bit, and I ended up on my lid. We kind of open wheel racing, he rubbed a little bit, and one car goes over. So it was like 4 laps to go. I ended up on my lid, then flipped me back over. Car was all fine. I was pretty banged up, but just kind of picked my way through the field, and last lap, last corner, passed him and won the championship. So it was pretty eventful. It was gnarly. I don't know. There's a sequence of events the last 3 laps. Just everything fell in our favor, and it was just one of those deals. It's like
you could talk about that whole race.
I've watched the race like 1,000 times, and still like no way that all.
Who was that guy?
No way it all fell in our favor. So it was weird. Like I don't really. Everything happened so slow. It's kind of like one of those deals where there's so much adrenaline, everything slows down, just falls into favor for you. So that's for sure the one.
That's a cool answer, man. What about you, Jamie?
Well, I'd say that San Felipe win, but we didn't talk about it tonight. But so back, I think '98, I built so Jimmy Lewis, he was an editor for Cycle World back then, and Jimmy does the Dakar Rally training classes and stuff. But he came to me, hey, I want to race the BAJA 500 on an XR 100 or an XR 100, and I'm like, what? So I go, yeah, let's do it. So we built the bike, Jimmy and I, and we raced the BAJA 500 on an XR 100 in an XR 80 front chassis.
Really?
And we almost won our class. They made us ride 250 Sportsman on it. But it was fun. We were doing wheelies and donuts and like through the pits, and people were cheering, and it was freaking awesome.
So nuts. Right?
We're gonna have to schedule this dude for like 10 shows. I mean, like, how many stories do you? Eliott?
It was a full replica bike too. You have the picture. It was a replica of the factory 1X bike then.
Oh, really?
If you look at it, I built twin pipes on it. We mounted a dual heli thing. Like, it's a replica of that, but it's a small bike.
That's what that was.
So that thing would go 60 miles an hour on a flat road. So as fast as the Talon went at the 1,063. But we averaged 33 miles an hour on that bike that day.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's a pretty good.
We chased it the entire race with an XR600 behind it. So
really?
One of us would be on the race bike, one of us would be on this, and we had a couple chase trucks.
Really?
That was it. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Chase bike.
We tripped people out.
Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Ooh, coffee.
Oh, I like anything with like Reese's in it. So like
peanut butter guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big peanut butter guy.
Yeah.
Dogs or cats?
Dog.
Dogs.
Yeah. Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix.
I rarely watch Netflix, but
I don't watch
cool
any of
options
them,
on
really.
there.
First of all, Netflix is awesome, but if anybody is going to be successful, it's YouTube, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
No, I know.
Burrito or taco?
Burrito.
If it's in Mexico, tacos.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
If it's here,
Valid point.
burritos. And DeSoto's here in Temecula before you go up the hill.
Yeah.
Before you go up the hill to go towards my place.
Yeah.
That DeSoto's little place, dude. Carne asada's killer.
Okay. Should I be writing this down?
And the carnitas. They cook the carnitas right, too. It's like a little bit crispy. Like, it's really good.
Can somebody please remind me to go to DeSoto's
DeSoto's.
tomorrow? Supercross or motocross?
Supercross.
I like moto because I just think it's more demanding. You know, I mean, Supercross, you got to. I mean, it's those guys are all talented.
Moto is like, so good thing I didn't ask you if you were a Tomac fan, right? Okay, fine. I should have changed this from Supercross or motocross to short course or desert.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be tough for you.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be tough
easy
for
for
him.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Desert.
Really?
Starting to.
Okay.
Starting to.
So I think you might just.
I think they need to have a series. Well, I mean, Robbie kind of started out with it with super trucks, but have like not full stadium, but like a supermoto style off-road racing. So you do some pavement with some like Grand Prix style. Like Willow Springs would be killer. They did a score race back. It was called the Score World Championship back in the day, and they had trophy trucks at Willow Springs racing. And dude, that'd be rad to bring something like that back.
Dude, you kind of got me thinking. So since 2020 and 2021 have been such fucked up years, what if people just started racing like their desert car on a short course track or a short course on a desert?
I don't like the tracks that are too small. Like the short course, they need to make like a bigger. Like back when we raced at Carlsbad and Riverside, the Grand Prix races we did. I mean, we went down the drag strip, we went out in the dirt, we did the motocross track, then we go and do the TT track. It's all one course.
You're not the first person in the. You're probably the 69th person that's told me to do. No, but seriously, on a serious note,
I think it would be so fun. I mean,
there's been a lot of people lately that have been saying that.
Glenn Helen's tried to do it a couple times, that Baja Cup or whatever, but it needs to be on like a Willow Springs platform. Like
there's been a lot of people that have said that lately. That
I think it'd be rad.
The exception is Crandon and Wheatland and ERX.
Yeah,
those are the three
those
cool
are big
tracks.
Those
Yeah,
are big
exactly.
tracks. Yeah, those would work. But
this kind of is the next question then. What other form of racing would you like to try? And don't just say F1. It could be monster trucks. It could be speedboats. It could be anything, dude. Like we're talking anything. Bicycle racing. Anything.
I think like some more on-road stuff would be exciting. Not necessarily in what kind of car, but I think it'd be just fun to try and do something more on-road.
Like USAC, like prototype, like what, like
any of it. I'm game for whatever. Just something different, to get out and try and change it up. So,
what about you, Jamie?
On the moto side, I'd like to learn. Well, if I was still young or whatever, I would have tried dirt track.
Really?
Yeah, I love it. It's badass.
It does look cool. Like, what do you think?
I got into it like 2 years ago. I built a little vintage bike, and Hell on Wheels is a little series they do around here, and they'll do like dirt track at Paris and stuff, and it was fun.
So Adam Malice. Let's see here. What other form of racing would you like to try? Oh, final question of the night, boys.
Uh-oh.
Chips and guacamole or French fries and ketchup?
Chips and guacamole.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
It's like a no-brainer for me. But honestly, that's a profiling question. If you answer French fries and ketchup, I can't even talk to you. No.
Unless you're hungover, and then
right?
McDonald's fries.
Dude, I'll eat French fries and ketchup all the time, but okay, we can't get too far into it.
I was about to say I'm more of a buffalo sauce kind of guy myself, so French fries and buffalo sauce might be a little more appealing to me.
So you're telling me if I said like French fries and ranch or French fries and buffalo sauce, you might have picked it?
Buffalo sauce, probably.
Dude, this was an awesome show. Like. You're filled with like more knowledge and more stories than I could even tell, but
we got a lot of stories.
You guys did great. Thank you very much. I don't even know if we have enough time to talk about all your stories in the next 10 episodes, but it's a good show, man. I appreciate both of you guys.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see what you guys do in the next couple years. Let's see here.
White Castle fries.
What the heck is White Castle fries?
Queso, bro.
Oh, these guys are.
Oh. All right. So thank you guys very much.
Waffle House back North Carolina, East Coast. Waffle House is the place to go, like in the morning for breakfast and stuff.
Is that?
Yeah.
Dude, there's a good place in Temecula. There's actually a pretty good place down in San Marcos too.
I'll eat Mexican food every day though if I had to.
Pretty much.
I do. It's bad down where I'm at. Yeah. El Centro. It's kind of getting out of hand.
Is it?
A little bit. It's good, but I mean,
you got good taco shops down there?
All sorts of ones. We're like 10 minutes from the Mexicali border, so it's like you get all sorts of good stuff down there.
All right. This is called the Dirt Life, not the Taco Life. Just kidding. All right. Eliott, no lie, Waffle House is the deal. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, George. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You guys both did awesome. Thank you very much to every single one of you guys. We really appreciate everything that you guys are doing to support the Dirt Life. Thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to Eliott. Thank you to Jamie. We will see you guys next week.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Later.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.